20+ people, gathering 25 written statements and reviewing multiple social media accounts. Judiciary Committee Republicans say no witnesses could provide evidence to substantiate any of the accusations.
Fox's Jillian Turner. Sanctions lifted by the nuclear deal are reimposed on Iran this week.
Sanctions that had been lifted as part of the 2015 nuclear deal will be slapped back tomorrow. The Trump administration making the move months after withdrawing from the international agreement earlier this year. The sanctions cover Iran's shipping, financial, and energy sectors, aimed, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says, at fundamentally altering the behavior of Iran. Sanctions hit not just Iran, but countries that do business with Iran. 8 U.S. allies will continue importing Iranian petroleum for about 6 months, but have made commitments to reduce or eliminate those imports. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Iran's president saying the U.S. will not achieve success with this new plot against Iran. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
And I approve this ad. At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
I'm Clint Rogel. My wife is Therese Uggan, Familian Barcinas Doyle of Molesu. We have 2 beautiful children. When I look into their eyes, I can see all of the promise Guam's future holds. But to ensure a bright future, we must elect leaders now who will do the right things. I'm one of those leaders. You trusted me to deliver you the news accurately and fairly. You can trust me now to lead. I'm Clint Rogel, and I approve this message. Raffan Pinko, Treasurer.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Your first look at 93.3 The Point News is brought to you by Guam Hearing Doctors. Call the experts at Guam Hearing Doctors if you're worried about your hearing. The evaluation is simple and painless.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. All systems are go for tomorrow's general election. A test run of the ballot tabulating machines was carried out yesterday afternoon at the field house. Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said the test went smoothly and the machines had no issues. In-office voting is still available today at the GEC office in the GCIC building. Record number of voters are registered, 56,000. The polls open at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and will remain open until 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Ballot counting is once again expected to last until the early morning hours of Wednesday. Many observers will have a close eye on the number of write-in votes for the gubernatorial election. With 3 teams in the race, a runoff remains a possibility. The winning candidate must get 50% of the votes plus 1. If that doesn't happen, a runoff election must take place within 14 days. Pangilinan said they should be able to tell whether a runoff is going to be necessary by early Wednesday morning. The attorney representing the Guam Contractors Association has renewed his request for a contempt order against the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service for its continued denial of H-2B petitions from island businesses seeking permission to hire skilled foreign workers. In a motion filed last Thursday in the District Court of Guam, Attorney Jeff Joseph contends that USCIS has demonstrated a willful failure to comply with the January preliminary injunction issued by Chief Judge Francis Tydinko Gatewood. That preliminary injunction required the Immigration Service to reverse its previous denials of H-2B worker petitions and stop the blanket denial of future petitions. Since early April, under a provision in this year's National Defense Authorization Act, immigration has been granting H-2B visas to Guam employers seeking skilled foreign labor for construction projects related to the military buildup. But John Robertson, Am Orient Engineering president and the chairman of the committee overseeing the Contractors Association lawsuit, said not a single H-2B petition from any Guam contractor for non-military related work has been approved by the Immigration Service. He said the USCIS is playing games. He said, we won the case in district court last January, but immigration is stalling now. So they asked Joseph to file for contempt against the federal agency because they're not following the judge's order, he said. We'll have more news after this.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need to hear. There are sounds that you want to hear. And there are sounds that you long to hear. Hear it all, louder and clearer than ever before. If you or someone you know has a hard time hearing, Guam Hearing Doctors can help using state-of-the-art test gear to evaluate your hearing and coming up with a plan to make your life better by making your hearing better. Call Guam Hearing Doctors for an appointment or visit them on the web at guamhearingdoctors.com.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point, Half a Day. I'm Mark Beneventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 6 a.m. In other news this morning, the U.S. Department of Justice has filed its reply to the government of Guam's defense of the Chamorro Land Trust Act, citing a landmark 26-year-old case that upheld the validity of the act and ordered its implementation. The feds point out that in that case, GovGuam admitted that the Chamorro Land Trust Act discriminates on the basis of race and national origin. That case was filed back in 1992 by the late Angel Santos and the Chamorro Nation against then-Governor Joseph Ada. GovGuam argued against implementation at that time, but the Superior Court of Guam issued a decision upholding the validity of the Chamorro Land Trust Act. Justice Department's response was filed last week in their ongoing lawsuit over the Chamorro Land Trust Act, which they charge is racially discriminatory because it provides preferential housing benefits only to those it defines as native inhabitants. Guam Deputy Attorney General Kenneth Orcott filed an opposition to that argument on October 2nd, writing that the act has nothing to do with perpetuating racial discrimination in housing and has everything to do with rectifying the inequities of the post-war land taking by the military. However, in its response, the Department of Justice counters that none of GovGuam's new theories can explain how a program that Guam admitted was unlawful racial discrimination in 1992 is race-neutral and non-discriminatory now. Various community groups staged a protest Saturday outside the new Marine base that is under construction at Nictams in Dededo. Members of both Independent Guahan and Save Ratidian, along with other Guam residents, held signs calling for the military to respect Guam's environment and Chamorro cultural sites. The protest was called after Guam Preservation Trust Board member and historian David Lotz visited the site known as Magua and found that an area that he said used to be a Chamorro village had been bulldozed. However, Joint Region spokesman Ian McConaughey said that the site, the laddiestones that were once at the site had been removed some time ago for safekeeping, and an archaeological study earlier in the decade found that the area was not a village. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting morning, Kevin. We got polar vortex pushing a Kelvin wave with inflows causing a surge in the tropopause fold. So you can expect the dry line shear to cause some increases in your isotherm readings on the photograph.
Of course.
There you go.
Thank you for
explained that well.
I did? Okay. That was the weather forecast I was doing on
I
on
understood
Friday.
every word of it. I'm not sure anyone else did.
I did that weather forecast on Friday because all I had was the simple one for the National Weather Service, and I thought we just needed some buzzwords. So I thought that's what I'll do today is I'll go and find a whole bunch of buzzwords and throw them at something and see if it makes any kind of sense whatsoever. So you might actually have to help me with some of these things. Yeah, Kelvin waves, etc.
Yeah, Kelvin waves. Well, do you know
do we get them?
Well, we do. The Madden-Julian oscillation is an example of a Kelvin wave.
Thanks. I knew there would be an answer. All right, partly cloudy skies, isolated showers. There's winds out of the east up to about 20 miles an hour. Becoming northeast tonight. Highs around 90 degrees. Around 90 degrees. Overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Might get a little bit of a heat index today, right?
Probably not, because some drier air, very slightly drier air has moved in.
The tropopause fold?
Well, you talk about a shear line, and that actually, one did move through yesterday. I got up yesterday morning, checked the radar. You could see a whole line of showers down to the south of us and just nice and dry. Also checked the satellite, showed it clearly pushing through. And that hung around for most of yesterday, getting a little push of some moisture that's coming through today, but no big deal. And a few showers out there, but again, we're at the end of the nighttime diurnal cycle. So these will kind of dry out as the morning progresses. And then if we get any more convection later on this afternoon, we could see a shower or two, but it's going to be few and far between.
Sunset tonight, 5:52. Sunrise tomorrow morning on Election Day should be about 6:16. Any ideas on what the forecast is going to be like for tomorrow? We can take a look at the satellite image and see.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. It really is. It's going to be a nice day. Again, that bit of moisture off to the east, they're expecting that to come through maybe on Thursday and give us a bit of an uptick in rain showers. Nothing significant. Tomorrow's going to be a great day to vote.
6:16. It's already a great day to start thinking about voting. Some people already have with the in-office voting going on over at the Guam Election Commission. It's 6:16. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagana, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by King's Restaurant. Had breakfast over at King's yesterday and rediscovered a love for. So I was feeling good. I was riding high. I got a PR in my 5K yesterday. Came in 2nd place in my division, and so I was thinking, what do I need to reward myself? And I thought, rice. How about some rice? So I went over to King's. They've got this. It's a corned beef fried rice. And it was all good. It required nothing. The guy brought over the soy sauce and the ketchup and the Tabasco to the table, and I took a bite of the corned beef fried rice, and I don't need any of that. It's perfect the way it is.
Some little crunchy bits in there.
Oh yeah. I was in that little fried garlic. So good and so good for you. Anyway, that was my breakfast. But you might be thinking about lunchtime today. It's Monday, and that means Salisbury steak at King's for lunch.
There's no political party that is more important than the people of Guam. My duty is clear. And to whom? To you, the people of Guam.
These attacks constitute a breach of trust to all candidates, and more importantly, they are a breach of trust to the people of Guam. Any pledge of unity was broken even before the ink was dry. And to attack us as dividing the party for considering the plea of our people to move forward with a write-in campaign is hypocritical.
Make no mistake about it. My duty to the party ends where my duty to the people of Guam begins.
I'm Frank Blasagun Jr., and I approve this message.
Paid for by committee to elect Aguilam Chiaco for Guam, Joanne Ige, Treasurer.
It's 6:19 in the morning. Portions of the program also brought to you by my friends. This is one where I do all of them, right? I'm all messed up here. There's just so much more going on today. Portions of the program brought to you at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. American Water Tech, Smarter Water, Better Water, and American President lines, where they're shipping the future. Yeah, and MRE. Never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
I got 6:20 in the morning, and welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on, Election Eve. Is that what we want to call it? I titled the program "And the Wake Up," reminiscent of the Vietnam War days. And I knew guys that served in that, and ask them how long they were there, or ask them about that little countdown period they had. In country, how many days? So I got this many days and a wake up, and I'm out. I'm gone. And so I'm using that phrase here, and a wake up, because today is the 5th. Election day is the 6th. Polls will open at 7 o'clock tomorrow, Kev?
7 o'clock.
So about 25 hours away from election 2018.
Get up, it's Jesus Day.
You know what? For a lot of people, it is. For a lot of people, it is the culmination of all of this. I ran into I've run into a number of people I refer to as political operatives over the last few days, and I've asked them, "How you doing? You doing okay?" And they look at me as if they're, another war analogy, kind of shell-shocked, just 1,000-yard stare. It's just out there. Hey, how you doing? Hey, is anybody in there? Sorry, miles away here, thinking about what it is that I'm going to be doing once the election is done. And I said, well, when is the election done? And in this case, it was somebody with the gubernatorial campaign. And she looked at me and she says, God, Ray, I have no idea. I have no idea. Just everybody's kind of up in the air about how it's going to work out tomorrow. In fact, I'm probably going to make that the question in the online poll. I've told you that there are 6 possible outcomes as a result of the election that we're going to be doing tomorrow in the gubernatorial race. It is either going to be a walkaway win for Lulian Guerrero and Josh, for Ray Tenorio and Ton, and the possibilities of something like that happening. Well, I don't know how possible it is. I don't know what kind of odds I'd give it, but I suppose it's not in the realm of impossibility that Frank Uggan and Alicia could get a walkaway win tomorrow. Many people, many of the other political watchers and predictors say that this is going to be all about the possibilities of a runoff campaign. Okay, fine. So who's it going to be a runoff with? Lou and Ray? Is that the likely scenario? Is it going to be Lou and Frank? Is that the likely scenario? Or is it going to be Ray and Frank? Is that the likely scenario? So I think I'm going to ask you what you think here today is going to happen. And I think I'll leave that up until the election is called, until all of the majority of the numbers are in. So at least a couple of days worth of all of that. But let me say hello to a couple of people. We've got Michael Knight who will push the buttons and answer the. He's got a lot of buttons to push today with all of the additional political activity on the logs. We got so Mike Knight's going to do that. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post is going to keep his eye and a finger on the news pulse of Guam and recite some of the big stories to you as we make our way through this Monday morning. But I don't want to get too far in the program without saying good morning to you.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Dun, dun, it. Lynn, Vince, Bora, Polino waving at me. Mark Cruz is waving at me as well. That's an interesting little thumb that you're using today. Nick Perlowski going hoy, and Terry Pablo Mallory with another wave. Ismael is there. Dora Marie Fergerger, Jeff Ojeda. Ken LG is there this morning. I think he had breakfast over at King's yesterday. In fact, I know he did. I know he walked in. I saw him, and I'm not going. I don't want to say it this way because it'll sound crass, but I purposely went in the other direction because he was sitting over here and I walked out in the opposite direction. And it's not that I don't love you, Ken. I do. I did a lot of just love talking with you, but I just, you know what? I've got some election fatigue as well. I've got a little bit of election fatigue as well. I'm not even running for stuff. I just get tired of hearing about it after a while. I got a couple of messages in the emails, and I saw them and chose to not look at them. And I'll look at them on Monday because it feels like work. And today is Saturday or today is Sunday, and I didn't want that to feel like working Saturday or Sunday. Rico Blancaflor is there, so one more day to go. That's right. Cindy Cruz Rapadas. There's Juanita Machi waving. Ismael referring to an ad that he heard with Lou on it. Says, wrong words, one value, trust. Who will we trust to protect the people of Guam? Depends. Are they born yet? And I can tell that Ismail has a conscience because right after that he says, sorry, too early. Simon Sanchez is there. Cousin Tommy Barcinas is there. Carm Leon Guerrero. Andy Tidenko. Cousin Tommy says, Huffa Ramon. Nice jacket at the Rotary Club. Thank you very much. And apparently I was too frisky for some of the members of the Rotary Club, so I don't know if I'm going to be doing any more forms for those guys. What do we got here? Paying attention today for sure. Yes, today is the day to pay attention. Carlos Barreto is there. Andre Bainham. Jose Martinez. One more day before the big day, says Carmen. I think you're right. Jack Haddock says, good morning, Guam. And Jack's got reason to be happy, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Lillian Cruz. Mo Cotton, who was also hanging out with beautiful Mrs. Cotton over at King's yesterday. It's amazing who you see at King's on a Sunday morning. You know, you just start looking around. And in my mind, there is no reason where you couldn't take any 5 people from any random set of tables at King's on any given Sunday morning. And in fact, let's take 15 of them and send them to the legislature. Couldn't be any worse. You know, what are we sitting around talking about? Politics and fixing stuff around here. Lynn Perez is there. Anita Muffness and Mingo Reed. There's Anita's Valentine's eyes. Greg Massey, Tommy Muffness, Lillian Cruz, half a day, the day before voting. Ray, Kevin, and Michael. Valerie Lynn Maigi, Melissa Blas Scheibel. Vince LG, Ryan St. Nicholas, and good mornings from John Ray, Bob and Connie, Bartonico. Robert, I miss you the last couple of days is at the races there, buddy. Kenny Williams and Pam Duvall. Carl T.C. Gutierrez. Sorry, Unc, didn't make the party last night. Brad Hewitt, Bob Lizama, Derek Munya-Kanata, and Jimmy Moylan. Who was it that was chiming in saying, listening in Texas? I passed that, and I wanted to make a comment about it, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it again. At any rate, if you're there, say hello again so I can properly acknowledge that we've got, as Bob Klitsky calls it, our international listening audience here on the program. 627, and what's on the table of contents today? Gee, what shall I talk about? I don't know. Last thing that popped into my head is actually out of Fox News. And they were talking about gas prices and talking about the highest prices. There it is, Yolanda San Miguel Mullins. Me from Texas. Yes, it is. Yes, it is you, Yolanda. Paying attention to what's going on here on Guam, all the way in Texas. Is this one of Yolanda? Is this one of those where your return to Guam, your eventual return to the bosom of your motherland here, is dependent on who wins the election in the next couple of days? Yes. Watching very carefully to see what happens. Is this going to be the term? Is this going to be the next 4 years going to be the signal for me that it's time to stop being an economic or social refugee from Guam and come home and embrace? I like saying it that way, the bosom of the motherland. Could it be? Could it be? Anyway, so they were talking about the prices of gasoline. And what's a going rate, Yolanda, in Texas, where Brad is? What's the going rate for a gallon of gasoline down there?
I'm guessing it's about $2.58 right now.
So they were talking about the highest prices in the land. And as usual, when they say the land, they don't mean Guam. They don't mean Puerto Rico. They don't mean Saipan. They mean the lowest price of 50 among the 50 states, among that brotherhood of 50 states. Hawaii at $3.82 a gallon, and I can hear people on the mainland going, "Thank God we don't live there." $3.82 a gallon for gasoline.
And if you're in Hawaii, you're thinking this is not bad.
Yeah, right. And my guess is the gas stations in Hawaii probably have different prices. Right, so you can go to like a Shell in Wiki Wacky, and there are no gas stations down there, but you could go to a gas station down in town, and it's $3.82 out on the other side of the island or on the other islands. In fact, what is it? That would be based on outer island prices, right?
Well, Hawaii being what it is, they're all going to be priced about the same. So, yeah, the deliveries kind of swing through and can catch them all. So
sounds like competition.
Yeah, they might have some of that. Brad Hewitt says, way too high, Mike. Saw $2.37 before he took off on Saturday. Oh, wow. And Yolanda says, depends, between $2.15 and $2.16 for a gallon of gasoline.
Yeah, you can probably get the Costco stuff for $2.15. I don't know. I never wanted to put that in my car.
Well, it's gas. It's gas.
And other things that you probably don't want in your car tank.
You sound like the people are yakking about vaping. Vaping is bad. We don't know what's in vape.
Causes popcorn lung.
Whatever that is. It's you know what? It's 6:30 in the morning. There's other stuff to fight about today. There's any number of things that we can go on about. Top story in today's Guam Daily Post is another one of these examples where through basic police work, just basic, we saw something out of the ordinary, and we stopped a couple of guys and followed up investigation. And there's a great story here, and I hope I get a chance to tell it with a little bit more accuracy and some. It's drugs, and $540,000 have been seized in a raid. Right? Did you see this? Cops, was it park rangers or something like that? Saw somebody doing something hinky, and that led to a call with the police department, and the cops got down there, and they conducted another secondary kind of investigation, which led to multiple arrests. We've got possession charges, we've got intent to deliver charges, we've got unregistered firearms charges, and $540,000, over $500,000 of which was found in a bank security box. Crazy story here. And so you remember last week I gave you a filter. I gave you a filter of how I wanted you to look at some of the candidates and how I wanted you to determine who was going to get your votes. And I equated it to some people that were out looking for jobs. I think Shell is still looking for a tanker driver, right? And so I was kind of riffing on the idea that whoever you vote for ought to have at least some experience, at least some common sense, at least a sense of responsibility that a tanker driver would have. This is somebody that thousands of gallons of gasoline in the back. They're not allowed to smoke. They're not allowed to screw around on the job, right? These people have got to be as sober as judges when they go through all of this stuff, and certification that they have to prove that they are capable of moving. I'm asking that senators and governor and AG and congressional candidates ought to have themselves certified. But when you go and vote, try to think in terms of somebody that has got that kind of sense of responsibility, that you would trust them with a tanker with thousands of gallons of gasoline that's driving in the car right next to you. So, but there's another filter that I want to go through, that I want to introduce to you this morning as we talk politics and we talk about who I think deserves your vote. And I'll tell you about that filter in just a minute. It's 6:32 and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. My partner, Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: Department of Agriculture conservation officers on patrol in Manilao last Wednesday made a routine traffic stop and found 7 ounces of crystal meth, $18,000 in cash, and firearms inside the vehicle. 39-year-old David Cepeda Torres of Manilao taken into custody, questioned, and arrested. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau, in a release issued on Saturday, said GPD's Mandanya Drug Task Force and DEA agents then followed up on Torres's arrest, executing search warrants at a home in Mongmong and another in Agana Heights. That led to the confiscation of more meth, some cocaine, marijuana, as well as drug paraphernalia, firearms, and another $15,000 in cash. Then on Saturday, according to Sergeant Tapau, a search warrant was executed at a Coast 360 branch, and more than $500,000 in suspected drug proceeds was seized from a security box. 5 additional people now under arrest on allegations of drug possession and possession of firearms without an ID. They are 31-year-old Kevin James Camacho, 42-year-old Jason Camacho Kidigua, 51-year-old Jeffrey Cepeda Camacho, 33-year-old Justin Vincent Camacho, all from Mongmong, and 44-year-old Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino of Agana Heights was also arrested. In other news, Judge Anita Sokola last week rejecting a plea deal for Roger Balicha, citing a lack of cooperation among the defendants involved in the case. Balicha, former police officer Jason Ortiola, and Jose Cibal Santos Jr., all 3 are facing drug allegations following their arrest last January. Balicha signed a plea deal on October 27th. But Sokola, addressing the defendant's legal counsel last week, Clyde Lemons, she said to him, "I am not accepting this plea agreement, sir. There is no cooperation with the other co-actors," said the judge. However, Sokola noted that one of the defendants has an outstanding bench warrant. She asked the judge for permission to work with the defense on the plea agreement. The prosecutor asked for that permission, and Judge Sokola gave them 2 weeks to rework that plea agreement, ordered them back to court on November 14th. Guam Election Commission says it'll continue to send authorized election representatives to the homes of homebound voters through this afternoon. However, there will be no homebound voting tomorrow. GEC Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said her staff will be visiting the island's hospitals on Tuesday to allow patients who are registered voters to cast their ballots there. Following concerns expressed about the homebound voting process, Pangilinan said she wants to assure those considering voting from home that the process is safe and secure. Once a request has been made for homebound voting, the voter's registration status has been verified. 2 GEC employees with IDs are sent to the home. The voter is provided with a ballot and an envelope. After marking their choices, the voter places the ballot inside the envelope, seals it with tape, writes his or her name over the seal of the top flap to prevent tampering. The ballot is then placed into an affidavit envelope that is placed into a locked carrier box and securely stored until Election Day tomorrow. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thank you very much. I got new stuff to read about iConnect. They want you to win big during the holidays with their Connected Win giveaway. Every new 12-month mobile, internet, and push-to-talk customer is automatically entered into a drawing for a vacation for 2 to Manila. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. See to a small seat. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Munya Barnes, Vince Mafna's treasurer.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Will be there to lend a helping hand. I will work to restore trust in a government that remains transparent through more open reporting. I will work to protect our environment so we can invest in new local industries that create more local jobs for our people. It's not about me, it's about we. I will work to help local businesses improve our self-sustainable economic outlook beyond tourism and the American federal government.
So vote for Jack, 'cause he'll be there for you whenever you need him.
You need a government that you can trust to work for you. I will fight for a fully accredited hospital, safer school facilities, and more police in the community instead of behind desks. But I need your help. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
Half a day, this is Narissa Underwood. As a senator, I witnessed the commitment and relentless effort of Senator Frank Uggan on behalf of the disadvantaged members of our community. As a lifelong educator and superintendent, I watched Alicia Limchaco work hard as Attorney General to ensure that our students attended schools that met health and safety standards. As your fellow citizen and as a mother, I support the Uggan-Limchaco team because they are the best prepared to lead Guam. Because they put God, they put life, the protection of life first before everything else. Please write in Frank Uggan and Alicia Limchaco.
I'm Frank Blas Uggan Jr., and I approve this message.
Let's go for a ride. Let's take a look at the traffic gizmo this morning at 6:39. And yes, there is a little bit of traffic. Routes, where's that? Where's that road there? Yeah, 8, 10, and 16. Sorry, somebody put this in 2D mode. I needed to go back to flat mode. I got the traffic inbound towards the intersection of 8, 10, and 16. Northbound, Route 8, I've got traffic building. It looks like it's starting to build up around the Toto area and just stays kind of solid all the way through. Manila also looking at traffic that is trying to go to, let me see here. That's the intersection of 10 and 15. So I think it's a lot of people trying to get northbound on Route 15 so they can go pay their water bills over at GWA or something like that. Might see a little bit of traffic in Tamuning in between the ITC building and EPOW Road. Nothing in front of us over here at Kmart just yet. You might also see a little bit of traffic starting to build coming out of the airport, making its way onto Marine Corps Drive. Other than that, don't see anything happening over at Anderson Air Force Base, Navy Hospital, or packing up in front of Sumai. So right now, traffic looks pretty good. It's 6:40.
Half a day. I'm Madeline Berdalio. For over 60 years, I've spent my life serving you. Through the years, we've done so much. And those of us who have run for public office know that we run on our records and that we are judged by what we've done and what we've failed to do. My late husband, Ricky, imparted this teaching moment. In elections, we win some and we lose some. Personally, I know there's immense difficulty in defeat, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our people. So now more than ever, we need leaders who understand the issues and have a plan for the future. On November 6th, I'm voting for Lou and Josh, and I'm asking everyone who wants positive change to vote for them too. I'm in with Lou and Josh, so vote Democrat.
I'm Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio, Tony Sanford, Treasurer.
As a community, we have always taken care of our most vulnerable. It's who we are. That's why Mary Camacho Torres wrote the Safe Haven Act for newborns, to ensure newborn babies can be cared for safely and properly when their natural mothers are not able to. Even our youngest and most vulnerable must be heard. This year, vote Mary Camacho Torres for Senator. She's our voice.
Half a day, I'm Mary Camacho Torres. I approve this message, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Paid for by the Guam Committee, Mark Pangilinan Jr., Treasurer.
Hungry? Enjoy a hearty, rich, and delicious cup of hot soup. In the mood for chili instead? You can have that too. And get a scoop of rice while you're at it. Circle K. Take it easy. Stop by Circle K and pick up snacks to satisfy your cravings without sacrificing good health. Look for the Better For You labels to find what works with your lifestyle. Low carbs, high protein, low sugar, and more. Circle K. Take it easy.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens' website at www.guamc4pa.org.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters.
What is that? What does that mean? You're giving me a hand sign. I don't recognize that hand sign.
That serves dual function. That's Shaka, because you know we're cool and stuff like that. But we also have a phone call.
Oh, anybody I know?
You might know her.
Oh, I do. Yes. I didn't think I'd need to call her today, but there are a couple of things that I want to clarify. And Kevin might have already done that in the newscast, but I just want to make sure in terms of in-office voting and what is it, the applications for out-of-town voting. Wanted to make sure I understood the distinction and where the deadlines are on all of that. Good morning, Maria Pangolina from the Guam Election Commission.
Half a day, Ray Gibson.
Lizzie, you sound so tired. You didn't work all weekend again, did you?
Oh, all of us did.
Wow. Well, I mean, wrapping up, and I'd love to be able to say that after tomorrow and the polls open, it's a question of letting the system kind of operate itself. But there's no break in that. Once the polls open, then that means that you're going to be working now for another 11 hours. Then you get the ballots in, then you count the ballots, and then take everything before the Election Commission on the 7th. For their determination and their unofficial ruling on all of that. So when will you get the next chance to sleep in?
Maybe this weekend.
Maybe this weekend. Yeah, is it? We got it's a 3-day weekend coming up, isn't it?
I hope so. November 11th is Veterans Day. So I don't even know if it's Friday or Monday.
Yeah. I'll get some clarity on that because, like I said, you and your people are probably going to need it. Is there still any more time to conduct in-office voting?
Yes. Today, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay. So we can still do in-office voting at the Election Commission until 5 o'clock this afternoon.
With excuse.
Do I have to show you my boarding pass or my accommodations, my note from Sam Shinhara that says I can ride the airplane?
No, you just have to sign a legal document called an affidavit saying that you swear that Ray Gibson's going to be off island on Tuesday.
Deal, can do. You know what? And there's, frankly, there's a bunch of people that might need to do that. I know all kinds of people that had intended to be here, but as they're conducting and participating in the rebuild of Saipan, the recovery from Super Typhoon U2, I think there's a lot of people that have gotten some last-minute instructions that they need to be on a plane that arrives in Saipan first thing tomorrow morning, so they might not have a chance to vote.
Yeah. So we did get word yesterday of some Army reservists that were leaving this morning. So Guam Election Commission staffers went up to the Army Reserve Center in Radio Barragata and serviced, I think we got 7 of them that were able to vote yesterday.
And then the rest of them, just find out from your CO when you get to Saipan where you need to be for members of the Guam Election Commission that will be up there to conduct voting.
Actually, we're not there anymore.
Oh, you did that already?
Yes, our staff, Fashana Gubatauto, Albert Sanger Jr., and Commissioner Pat Seville got there Saturday morning.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Hey, yeah, and they came back Sunday morning.
Now, have you tallied up their votes yet? Did Lou win?
No, we don't tally up the votes, Ray Gibson. We are collecting the ballots and putting them in a fireproof cabinet with only me with the key.
Only you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now what about homebound voting? Are you still able to do that?
Yes, thank you for asking. 4 o'clock this afternoon is the deadline to call in the request for homebound voting. All you have to do is call in the name and the date of birth of the person that is homebound or at the hospital. We will call back, and a point of contact. We will call back and get the information if you wish. If you can't give us the name and the date of birth, call us, and we will call whoever is the point of contact to get the name and date of birth. Please know that why we make the deadline 4 o'clock this afternoon is that we will be servicing at the hospitals tomorrow.
Got it.
We will service the rest of the homebound, but I don't want to sit in my office crying because somebody called and we couldn't get out there before 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
Got it. Trying to see it. I've got a question from somebody. I'm just reading it here. Please ask Maria Pangilinan. Section 9125B states that a voter who unilaterally absents himself or herself from employment for the purpose of voting shall provide to his or her employer evidence from GEC that he or she had voted during the hours of his or her absence. So are GEC people prepared to provide voters with proof of voting at a particular time tomorrow?
At the polling place. So if the voter requires proof, he or she will simply ask the precinct official for an I voted pad. On that pad will be the time the voter was at the polling site and the signature of the precinct official. All precincts will be supplied with voting pads enough for all voters.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so if you think you might get in trouble, if you think you need to have, or if your boss requires you to have some kind of record of your trip to the polling place, then all you need to do is ask for it, and they'll give it to you. And you know, I'm a easygoing kind of boss. You know, you just show up with the I voted sticker. As far as I'm concerned, that means you went somewhere, so I'll be okay. Just don't come back with like booze on your breath.
Hi, Maria. It's Kevin. During the count tomorrow, just curious, when you provide the updates of the vote, will you also be updating the write-ins throughout the evening, or do we have to wait until the end to learn the write-in number?
The write-in numbers will be counted by the machine.
So
every time Kevin writes in Ray Gibson, the machine will stop and pull out that ballot, and then the tabulator operator will pull out that ballot, the top of the bin, and put it in the write-in bin. We have separate write-in bins, very observable, on top of each tabulator. And so there'll be 2 bins on top of the tabulator, one for replication and one for write-in. Replication is when the machine did not read that ballot because of possibly a stray mark. So that ballot that will need to be replicated will be given to the replication table. That's a Republican and a Democrat commissioner plus the legal counsel.
And they'll determine what the intent of the voter. What I think Kevin is asking, though, is the report will come out. There'll be, you know, X number of voters by precinct or X number of precincts counted. There'll be a number for Lou. There'll be a number for Ray. Will there be a number for write-in?
Absolutely.
So the reports will show, and so as they get these reports, they'll be able to see a running count. And in fact, I think if I remember the format of the reports correctly, you should be able to see a percentage of the precincts that are in, and what percentage of votes Lulian Guerrero would have at the time, Ray Tenorio would have at the time, or for those number of precincts, and the number of votes cast for a write-in at the time.
Yes, that's correct.
So, frankly, you guys, as you're watching these things come in the middle of the night, ought to be able to get a sense of where of the possibilities of the runoff. Very, very interesting, Maria. Unfortunately, we've got to break away. Is there anything else important that you needed to pass along to the voters today?
Bring your photo ID.
Bring a photo ID. Very, very good advice. Very good advice. What if I've got a First Hawaiian Bank credit card and it's got my picture on the back? Is that good enough?
Casina cannot.
Cannot
accept it.
All right. GovGuam ID, driver's license, firearms permit, anything that's got your picture and something that we can verify your identity on.
And even Guam high school IDs. Father Duenas, Notre Dame, GW, Okadu high school IDs, those work as well.
All right. 6:53. Maria, you have a terrific day. Try to catch a nap at some point, okay?
Thank you so much, Ray Gibson.
Have a great morning. It's 6:53. I'll be right back.
Day. My name is Steve Guerrero, and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the poor fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
Super Typhoon U2 has become one of the strongest storms on record to date. APL recognizes the damage that U2 has left behind and sees an opportunity to help our neighboring brothers and sisters in the CNMI. We humbly ask for the community's assistance in providing donations and supplies to our fellow islanders. All supplies can be dropped off to our APL office or coordinated for pickup and loading. Call 588-4651 for more details and to learn how you can help today.
I have dedicated my career to protecting the most vulnerable and ensuring a safer community for our families and our children. I know public corruption is a cancer on our government, and if not rooted out, the cancer grows. Officials have a duty to ensure and uphold the integrity of our government. I will, working with our community, hold accountable those who violate the public's trust.
I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
Filters, I tell you. I got into the conversation with Maria Pangolino before finishing the riff that I had on filters. You know, like I said Friday, you think about the amount of incredible responsibility that the gas companies require for people that do a lot of the work in the gas companies, whether they're driving the trucks or whatever. I mean, there's a whole lot of response because it's explosive. People can get hurt with it if you do it wrong, and people have been hurt in the past when somebody took the responsibility less than seriously. And so when I start thinking about who it is that I'm going to vote for, and I haven't made a decision. I tell you what, I haven't made a decision one way or the other, literally on anybody that is asking for my vote. This is one of those things where I think I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about it today and tonight, going over some of the information. And there's plenty enough of it. You know, anybody that goes into this election still saying, "Well, I don't know what this candidate stands for. I don't know where this candidate is on a particular issue." You haven't paid attention because there have been numerous forums and numerous barrels of ink that has been spent on getting their positions on a variety of important issues. But today, maybe because it's the front page, or maybe because it's just it's another reminder here of just how bad things have gotten in terms of crime here on Guam. Drugs, $540,000 seized in raids. So what happened was the cops. What is this? Department of Agriculture conservation officers stopped a guy at the Marble Cave area Wednesday, and the reason why they stopped him was because it looked like he was up to no good. Pickup truck filled with trash. I'm sure he wasn't, involved in some kind of cleanup. He's probably going to dump it, get rid of it. Anyway, so they pulled the guy over and said, maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. So they called the cops, and the police came in and started working with them. And by the time this was all done and said, we've got, how many people been arrested? Just a ton of people that they've gone through. Six people arrested in this on a variety of charges. Generally, look like they're on crystal methamphetamine charges, possession of a firearm without a valid firearms ID. We've got somebody that was busted with 4 ounces of meth, 14 grams of cocaine, 30 grams of marijuana, 15 grand in cash on them. I've never in my life held $15,000 in actual green dollar bills in my hands. And they did some more work and were able to get a search warrant and found another $510,000 in cash and a few other assets in a bank security. So here's the filter that I want you to go through. Gubernatorial candidates for sure. Senatorial candidates, yes. Who on any of the ballots there where it's appropriate, including the judge retention, who is going to protect us from these people? Who will protect our children from these people? You can go, and the timing is incredible because on page, 6 of the same Guam Daily Post, they ask in the last word from each gubernatorial team, what will your administration do to address the meth epidemic and other illegal drugs smuggled into Guam? And unfortunately, I don't see one that rises to the level that I'd like to see, which is stronger, stiffer, mandatory penalties, not on the people that are using the drugs. I mean, I feel awful for them. The people that I don't feel awful for are the jugheads that are dispensing this, that are distributing, that are selling crystal methamphetamine, knowing what it does and has done to our community. So when you go into the voting booth tomorrow, or if you still haven't figured out who you're going to vote for, run them through this filter. Which of them do you think is going to do everything that we need to do to protect our children and our community from these people? We'll talk about it a little bit more, and I'll read you some of the last words from the gubernatorial team as the program continues. This is The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point, 888-8255. Or you want to WhatsApp me something? Shoot, dude, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Time now for Fox News Live.
A full court press down the home stretch. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
I have never seen such a enthusiastic Republican Party. They're enthusiastic about how well the economy's doing, and they're enthusiastic about security. They're enthusiastic about taxes being lowered and getting lower again. They're really enthusiastic about the border.
President Trump fired up before leaving Washington for a rally in Georgia. The president stumping for Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp. Polls show his contest with Democrat Stacey Abrams looks to be a nail-biter.
Brian Kemp, as Secretary of State in Georgia, oversees elections in this state. This morning, his office issued a press release saying it has launched an investigation into the Georgia Democratic Party after detecting a failed breach of the state's voter registration system. The Democratic Party called the claims 100% false and a political stunt, illustrating why Kemp should not oversee an election in which he is running for governor.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at the rally in Macon. The president heads to Tennessee for an event this evening. On Capitol Hill, political observers predict Democrats will take back the House, but control of the Senate is a tougher battle.
Republicans taking aim at Democratic senators up for re-election in red states, a strategy they expect will help expand their majority in the Senate. GOP Senator Tom Tillis told Fox News Sunday,
"The map looks very good to us in about 5 or 6 different states."
One of those states, North Dakota, where Democrat Heidi Heitkamp is in a tough battle with Republican Representative Kevin Cramer.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. Democrats defending 10 seats in states President Trump won in 2016. Republicans currently have a 1-vote majority in the Senate. That's 51 to 49. Mike Pence, the vice president, also president of the Senate, would have to come in for any of those tie-breaking votes. This is Fox News.
I support the buildup. I enlisted right out of high school in October 2000 in the Air Force Reserves. I am a proud service member and an even prouder civilian employee that serves the base. I have served in locations across the globe and have served in Guam during its time of need. I believe Douglas Moylan will be fair to the military and its buildup efforts while staying true to the island of Guam and her people. My name is Ralph Camacho and I support Douglas Moylan because I believe he will support all of us.
Hello, I am Douglas Moylan, and I approve this message. I respectfully ask for your vote.
Paid for by the committee to elect Douglas Moylan for AG.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Good news at the gas pumps.
Gasoline prices are down 8 cents more on average. The new price is $2.85 for regular, and in the past month, this makes a drop of more than 12 cents per gallon, coming from lower crude oil prices.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg monitors gas prices nationwide. A vigil planned in Wisconsin this evening for 3 Girl Scouts and an adult killed in a hit-and-run accident yesterday. The victims were picking up trash along a rural highway when a pickup truck struck them. 1 girl survived and remains hospitalized in critical condition. The driver later surrendered and is expected to face 4 counts of homicide. Unearthing some ancient history at the home of George Washington.
Dominic Anderson and Jared Phillips, a pair of high school students from Akron, Ohio, dug up something really old in George Washington's backyard. A 7-by-3-inch axe head from the 4th millennia BC. Definitely not the same one used by young George to chop down that cherry tree. The students were part of an archaeological dig at the Virginia home of the father of our country. The 2 teens were helping to map out the dimensions of what's believed to have been a slave cemetery when they made their discovery. The historic find, quote, provides a window onto the lives of individuals who lived here nearly 6,000 years ago, says Sean Devlin, curator of archaeological collections at Mount Vernon. Historians say the area was used by Virginia Indians as much as 8,000 years ago. Karen McHugh, Fox News.
Her 4th New York City Marathon title in the last 5 years.
On the first Sunday in November, first place again belongs to Mary Keitany. She will be the 2018 TC New York City Marathon champion.
Courtesy WABC, the Kenyan runner finishing the women's race in 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 48 seconds. Lalisa Desisa of Ethiopia winning the men's competition in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 59 seconds. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Afide, I'm Madeline Berdalio. For over 60 years, I've spent my life serving you. Through the years, we've done so much. And those of us who have run for public office know that we run on our records and that we are judged by what we've done and what we've failed to do. My late husband, Ricky, imparted this teaching moment. In elections, we win some and we lose some. Personally, I know there's immense difficulty in defeat, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our people. So now more than ever, we need leaders who understand the issues and have a plan for the future. On November 6th, I'm voting for Lou and Josh, and I'm asking everyone who wants positive change to vote for them too. I'm in with Lou and Josh, so vote Democrat.
I'm Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message. Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, Treasurer.
Mike St. Nicholas doesn't believe we are confident enough to govern ourselves.
We don't want people who are not confident in their own self-governance to be voting on self-government.
Yet, we pursued more self-government because we are confident we can govern ourselves. The only person who does not trust the people of Guam is Mike St. Nicholas. If he doesn't trust us, we can't trust him. Let's vote for Doris Flores Brooks, a trusted, experienced representative who believes and trusts the people of Guam.
I'm Doris Flores Brooks, and I approve this message.
Paid for by DC Doris for Congress Committee, the King and Osh's Board Treasurer.
Half a day, this is Nerissa Underwood. As a senator, I witnessed the commitment and relentless effort of Senator Frank Uggan on behalf of the disadvantaged members of our community. As a lifelong educator and superintendent, I watched Alicia Limchaco work hard as Attorney General to ensure that our students attended schools that met health and safety standards. As your fellow citizen and as a mother, I support the Uggan Limchaco team because they are the best prepared to lead Guam. Because they put God, they put life, the protection of life first before everything else. Please write in Frank Uggan and Alicia Limchaco.
I'm Frank Blas Uggan Jr., and I approve this message.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Department of Agriculture conservation officers on patrol in Manila last Wednesday made a routine traffic stop and found 7 ounces of crystal meth and $18,000 in cash and firearms inside the vehicle. 39-year-old David Cepeda Torres of Manila was taken into custody, questioned, and arrested. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapao says GPD's Mandanya Drug Task Force and DEA agents then followed up on Torres's arrest, executing search warrants at a home in Mongmong and another home in Agana Heights. That led to the confiscation of more crystal meth, some cocaine, marijuana, as well as drug paraphernalia, firearms, and another $15,000 in cash. Then on Saturday, according to Sergeant Tapao in a release issued on Saturday, a search warrant was executed at a Coast 360 branch, and more than $500,000 in suspected drug proceeds was seized from a security box. 5 additional people were arrested on allegations of drug possession and distribution and possession of firearms without an ID. They are 31-year-old Kevin James Camacho, 42-year-old Jason Camacho Kidigua, 51-year-old Jeffrey Cepeda Camacho, 33-year-old Justin Vincent Camacho, all from Mongmong, and 44-year-old Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino of Agana Heights was also taken into custody. In other news, the U.S. Department of Justice has replied to GovGuam's defense of the Chamorro Land Trust Act, citing a landmark 26-year-old case that upheld the validity of the act and ordered its implementation. The feds point out that in that case, GovGuam admitted that the Chamorro Land Trust Act discriminates on the basis of race and national origin. That case was filed in 1992 by the late Angel Santos and the Chamorro Nation against then-Governor Joseph Ada. GovGuam at that time argued against implementation of the Chamorro Land Trust Act, but the Superior Court upheld the validity of the act and ordered its implementation. The Justice Department's response was filed last week in the ongoing lawsuit over the Land Trust Act, which they charge is racially discriminatory because it provides preferential housing benefits only to those it defines as native inhabitants. Guam Attorney General, Assistant Attorney General Ken Orcott filed an opposition to that argument on October 2nd, writing that the CLTA has nothing to do with perpetuating racial discrimination and everything to do with rectifying the inequities of the post-war land taking by the U.S. military. However, in its response, the Department of Justice last week countered that none of GovGuam's new theories can explain how a program that GovGuam admitted was racially discriminatory in 1992 is race-neutral and non-discriminatory now. We'll have more news after this.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mafna's treasurer.
Regine Bisco Lee isn't always the loudest senator, but that's because she's busy getting things done. Regine fought higher taxes from day one. Her first bill sent senatorial pay raises to public schools instead of politicians' pockets. And she took the governor to court when some politicians asked for nearly $200 million in new debt. Want a senator that strengthens our economy, champions our environment, and protects our children? Vote Regine Bisco Lee for senator. Regine Bisco Lee, strong, honest, effective.
I'm Regine Bisco Lee, and I approve this message.
12 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. All systems are go for tomorrow's general election. A test run of the ballot tabulating machines was carried out yesterday afternoon at the UOG Fieldhouse. Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said the test went smoothly and the machines had no issues. A record number of voters, about 56,000, are now registered for this election. The polls open at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning and will remain open until 8 tomorrow night.
Ballot counting is once again expected to last until the early morning hours of Wednesday. Many observers will have a close eye on the number of write-in votes for the gubernatorial election. With 3 teams in the race, a runoff remains a possibility. The winning candidate must get 50% of the votes cast plus 1. If that doesn't happen, a runoff election must take place within 2 weeks. Pangilinan said they should know whether a runoff will be needed by early Wednesday morning when the unofficial results have been finalized. Meanwhile, in-office voting still allowed through 5 o'clock this afternoon. The GEC says they'll continue to send authorized GEC representatives to the homes of homebound voters as well through 4 o'clock this afternoon. Pangilinan said she wants to assure those considering voting from home that the process is safe and secure. There will be no homebound voting tomorrow, however. Pangilinan said her staff will be visiting the island's hospitals tomorrow to allow patients who are registered voters to cast their ballots. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now talk some weather.
I'm talking weather now. Partly cloudy skies with isolated showers. I got winds out of the east up to 20 miles an hour today, becoming northeast this evening. Highs today about 90 degrees. Not much by way of a heat index. I think we had a pretty good one yesterday. And overnight lows of about 77 degrees. We'll see sunset at 5:52 tonight, earlier and earlier. And sunrise tomorrow morning about the same time as today, 6:16. Mike, you got anything you wanted to add to this? Now you were good? All right, that's enough weather for right now. 7:14 is the time here in the studios of 93.3 The Point.
Hafaday! My name is Janae, and my passion in community work has always centered around children and families. If elected, I will continue to work towards a better quality of life for all families on island. I will work to provide safe communities for children to thrive, and I will work to grow our agricultural economy to move towards island sustainability. A vote for Janae is a vote for you and your family. My name is Janae Adami Ugin, number 6 on the Republican side of the ballot, and I humbly ask for your vote. This is Janae Adami Ugin, and I approve this message.
I got 7:14 in the morning. Swing by Kings, and you know what? Meet up with some of the movers and shakers of Guam, and we'll solve all of our problems from one of those double-decker booths that they've got over at King's Place. While we're enjoying the fantastic lunchtime that is, what is it? Salisbury steak today is what you're going to find for lunch. Tomorrow it's bistec chamorro. Wednesday, sinigang. Thursday is meatloaf, and then Friday is beef tinaktak. It's hard to see past tomorrow, isn't it? Sorry about that. Lunch then today at King's.
There's no political party that is more important than the people of Guam. My duty is clear. And to whom? To you, the people of Guam.
These attacks constitute a breach of trust to all candidates, and more importantly, they are a breach of trust to the people of Guam. Any pledge of unity was broken even before the ink was dry. And to attack us as dividing the party for considering the plea of our people to move forward with a write-in campaign is hypocritical.
Make no mistake about it. My duty to the party ends where my duty to the people of Guam begins. I'm Frank Blasagun Jr., and I approve this message.
Paid for by committee to elect Agin Lim Tiako for Guam, Joanne Ige, Treasurer.
You know, I don't normally do traffic reports at this time, but I'm starting to see some detectable patterns here, and maybe it has to do with with some candidates that are out there doing some waving on the roadways. Route 4 beginning to look busy. We're seeing some traffic starting to get kind of cranky in and out of Dededo at the lower part of it, over by the intersection of 1 and 3 in the Ukudu area and up around Estumbo. You might also have a hard time getting out of the airport area right now. That traffic light, it's working. There's just a lot of extra cars on the road. 7:16. Portions of the program also brought to you by my friends over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with, yes, American President lines. APL is shipping the future. Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. But wait, there's at least one more of my favorites. That's Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out.
Wow, things moving fast here. I got all kinds of people coming in and checking into the Facebook feed this morning. Evelyn Uggan is there. Ray, Jack Haddock asking, Ray, when is Dennis going to be on the show? It doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm sorry. Yeah. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I don't think there is going to be any endorsement at all from Dennis. I don't believe there's going to be any, I'll repeat that, any endorsement at all. That I know of, he's made 3. That you know of. Maybe there's only 2, right? One is who's that guy? We got one that is. Adolfo Palacios. I'm sorry. He had endorsed Adolfo Palacios, and there is also Jack Haddock is I'm sure the happiest guy in the world today. Jack Haddock says has been endorsed by Dennis as well. And on top of the endorsement by Dennis of Jack, there is one more, and I didn't realize that this was out there. It is an endorsement that he made. And it's funny, I was there, and I thought I was paying attention, but maybe there was something else distracting me. But he had also made an endorsement at the event, which was it was a fundraiser that he had last week. And hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull this up and play it for you on the radio. Apparently, he made an endorsement for Mike Nicholas. Now, this is an ad. It looks like an ad on social media for Mike Nicholas. So I am going to play this for information purposes only because I wanted to hear that endorsement. I did not hear it in real time. So let's find out together what Dennis had to say about Mike Nicholas for Congress.
I'm Michael F. Nicholas, and I approve this message.
Serve our community in this capacity, and as long as I'm here on Guam, I'm going to continue to give back to our island because I love Guam. I want to thank Senator Nicholas. He told me he's going to bring the cast of Red here this evening, and so thank you, Senator, for bringing them here. And I really appreciate it. I'm asking my family, my friends, supporters, exercise your right to vote. So go out there, vote for the candidates that we know will be good for Guam. We have strong positions, strong personalities, but it's always for the good of Guam. So, Senator Sijos-Masi, thank you. I look forward to visiting you in D.C.
Look forward to visiting you in D.C. I guess that's the endorsement there, but I don't believe that there is going to be another an endorsement for any of the gubernatorial camps. I got a note from the guys over at the Democratic Party of Guam. Apparently, there was a big get-together over at where was that? Shirley's in Agana the other day, and so they along with that, pictures of Carl T.C. Gutierrez on stage with Lou and Josh and a variety of Democrats that got together with them at the Shirley's for breakfast the other day. But there's no Dennis in that picture either, so I think he's sitting this one out for sure. 20 after 7 o'clock in the morning, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. Is it time to take a look at what happened on the markets? Yeah, I got a little bit of time left over for that. Live, Jerry Roberts in just a few minutes. The S&P 500 lost 17 points on their Friday, our Saturday. NASDAQ also closed in the red, 77 points. The numbers for S&P 500, 2723. The NASDAQ at 7356. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average closing 100 points lower, 25,270. FTSE is down. The Nikkei is going to start up today in the green. Hang Seng also green. And the DAX is at 115,518. They're up by 50 points on the DAX, and that's good news for those particular markets. As we've been pointing out, we've been watching the numbers roll backwards quickly for West Texas crude, now trading at $63.14 for a barrel of that. And as usual, I need to call up the website where I can find the numbers for Tapas. Sorry, you know what? I'm not. It's not that I'm lazy. I was actually doing something at the time. I was actually doing something productive. What are you doing? No, yeah, Jerry Roberts in the studio at the time. No. Today's online poll at thepoint.gu. And I think it's probably going to be the most important one that I will be looking at over the next 24, 48 hours. And the numbers, incidentally, Tapas at $75.53, $75.53. Last time we looked, it was $77.84, so trending in the right direction. So our online poll at thepoint.gu, how will the general election end? And your choices are walk-away win for Lou and Josh, walk-away win for Ray and Tony, walk-away win for Frank and Alicia. Your other choices are runoff between Lou and Ray, runoff between Lou and Frank, or runoff between Frank and Ray. Mathematically, those are the only possibilities. There is one last option. There's one last option. How will the general election end? And the last option here is in tears. In tears. So you're welcome to go to the point.gu on the World Wide Web and click on whichever one you think is the one in all likelihood to happen.
What about if the three gubernatorial camps split the vote evenly, 33%?
All the way through?
Would there be a three-way runoff?
That's why we put the in tiers. That's why I've always got the in tiers. And that may or may not happen. So we have to make a distinction between write-in votes in general and write-in votes for Frank and Alicia specifically. It is possible that there could be, let's pull a number out of my whatever.
Hat?
Hat. Thank
Let's
you.
try hat.
Another three-letter word I was looking for.
That's good culture.
Not the one
Thank you.
in my
Now
head.
you know why I'm here.
Thanks for helping out. I appreciate it. Let's say it's 15,000 write-in votes, right? Let's say it's 15,000 write-in votes. All of those votes will apply to the percentage. When they do the mathematics, all of those votes will apply to the percentage where they try to determine 50% plus one of all of ballots cast, right? But not all 15,000 could be for Frank and Alicia. Arguably,
sure,
there will
5,000 could be for you.
Exactly. And not that I'm suggesting anybody at this late date write in Ray Gibson and Jerry Roberts or Ray Gibson and Bob Klitsky or what. But I just, I'm just saying. So we could split the vote three ways: Ray and Lou and Crow write-in. But will all of the write-ins be for Frank and Alicia? You remember there was a little bit of talk. Tiny, skosh, microscopic now in relative to where we've been. There was a little bit of talk for Frank Bloss Jr. As a write-in candidate for the Republicans. That apparently went nowhere because the Republican Party did not specifically go and ask him. Those were his wishes. I'll do it if the Republican Party officially asks me to pose as a write-in candidate here. Be more than happy to do it. But the Republican Party didn't. Although I'm told that it was a high-ranking member of the Republican Party that asked him, but would not then do it officially. Political gossip. I swear it's out there. 724.
It is out there.
I think what the public really wants to know is how many votes will Bugs Bunny get?
We'll find out. We should be able to extrapolate that based on data, write-in data from previous elections, which you will find over at the Guam Election Commission. And if you don't really want to know, don't ask us. I'll make you do it. I'll say, hey, Mike, since you're not doing anything in there. 725, we got time for Jerry Roberts.
We're 24 hours out from when Guam citizens head for the polls to elect a new slate of public officials. I've accumulated a few thoughts on the 2018 election, which are coming right now on the Extra Point. How does an election that features 30 candidates and will result in 15 people taking office go nearly unnoticed? Is it just me? Or has the noise from the gubernatorial race pretty much drowned out senatorial hopefuls? I've heard a number of people say this, and it's seen it posted in Facebook. The average voter knows very little, if anything, about the majority of the people competing for those seats. And there are people who worry that the 35th Guam legislature, with a majority of new faces, may be one that causes mass indigestion in the coming 2 years. Hopefully, somebody in there will recognize that perception and work hard to make sure that it doesn't happen. Does an endorsement from a former opponent really matter to that opponent's supporters? Could that endorsement deliver a majority of those votes? Half? Or since those supporters originally chose against the one you now endorse, are those votes now mostly up for grabs? I suppose we'll get a sense of all that tomorrow. Are political parties out of touch with voters and losing influence? Has the concept of party loyalty oaths between candidates and a growing perception of no loyalty to the public finally caught up with them? In the face of possibly more and possibly uglier negative campaign ads than any time I can recall, was anybody else waiting for any of the candidates to stand up and repudiate them, saying they didn't believe the trashy things said about their competitor and urging people to ignore them? Why didn't that happen? Why are we so willing to let the candidates get away with lathering us up with the same kind of campaign promises we've heard for years and claim we don't believe, instead of forcing them to come up with comprehensive plans to back up what they say they're going to do. Will we make history tomorrow by 1, setting up a runoff election for governor, and 2, will one of those who qualifies for the runoff be a write-in team? Some political pundits have said that Frank Uggan and Alicia Limtiaco will only receive 5 to 10% of the vote, and relatively few people will bother or remember to write them in. I wonder. Now, that would see them getting less than 4,000 votes if you do the math versus turnout versus 56,000 people that are registered, and if they get 5 to 10, that's around 4,000 votes. Less than half of those who supported them in the primary. And further, that they get 0 votes from the 9,400 former Gutierrez and Rodriguez backers? Does that make any sense? Some others, who know politics pretty well, think they're going to pick up 20% or more. Which will it be? And how about Doris Brooks or Mike San Nicolas giving Madeline Bradalio a 90-day contract to walk around Congress and the rest of D.C., introducing them to all the key people she built relationships with over the last 16 years, giving them a jump start in their efforts on our behalf? Hey, it's just a thought. Tomorrow could well be the most interesting day in Guam's political history. Sleep well tonight. We're all probably going to need it tomorrow. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
And as usual, out of the park, great Extra Point today.
Thank you, sir.
And I like the part about giving Madeline 90 days worth of walking around.
I'll tell you what, if I had money to do that and I was elected, that is the first phone call I would make. Think about that. Who she knows and the willingness perhaps to walk me around town for a while.
In the old days, it was can I have your Rolodex?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Can I have your contact list would be the appropriate thing. Can you add me to your WhatsApp group of all of the people that you know in Washington, D.C. that I'm going to need to start making some solid connections with. And I tell you what, right now, the guy, besides Madeline, that you want to make solid connections with looks like is going to end up to be Kalili from up in the CNMI. He's also been batting them out of the parks. Interesting Extra Point today. You got that loaded up on the website?
Yes, I do.
Pretty soon, huh?
No,
it's on now.
All
right, great. You can start looking for that at guamtraining.com.
See you in the morning.
7:29 right now. The Ray Gibson Show continues after these.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
I have dedicated my career to protecting the most vulnerable and ensuring a safer community for our families and our children. I know public corruption is a cancer on our government, and if not rooted out, the cancer grows. Officials have a duty to ensure and uphold the integrity of our government. I will, working with our community, hold accountable those who violate the public's trust.
I'm Frank Blas-Uggan Jr., and I approve this message.
I hate math. I hate doing math on the fly. Okay, so 56,000, and we're thinking 80% voter turnout. Is that the number you're looking at?
We've had it before. We've had it before. We could be 75. With the contentious nature of this election, I can't see that we're going to come in like lower than 70 or something like that. I mean, I think we could be 80%.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't done any of the political calculus yet, but I think I'll see if I can spreadsheet this a little bit, do some thumbnail spreadsheet on this, figure out what the numbers are at 75% penetration, 70%, 65, and then maybe do some estimates on where we think Lou is going to be, where we think Ray might end up being, and where you think those write-ins are going to come from. You think? What was the number you thought?
Well, somebody else kind of ran this down for me, but knows more than I do about it. He had 8,000 votes.
Who could that possibly be?
Okay, no. He had 8,000 votes, right? Okay, Frank did. So 8,000 votes. Dennis and Carl had 9,400 between them. So if you say that he's only going to get 3,000 or 4,000 write-ins, you're saying that half or less than half of the people who voted for him
originally
the first time,
gone.
They're going to go on. They're going to go to somebody else. That doesn't make any sense to me. He's going to get most of what he had before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to believe he's going to get something out of
Convertible
Carl and
Republicans.
Dennis.
Yeah,
Could some
convertible
for Republicans.
All right. Well, let me play around with some of that stuff as we make our way through. 888-8255 if you want to jump into some of this, and be more than happy to get you on the air as well. I will acknowledge that Ken Leon Guerrero came by the radio station and brought some coffee and donuts from Winchell's.
Good man.
Yeah. But I think he was thinking maybe I'd bring him into the studio for a little bit, but. Get out of here with that noise. It's 7:32. We were supposed to do traffic, right? It's building up all the way from middle of Gigo all the way into the lower parts of Dedido and the intersection of Route 1 and Route 3, 8, 10, and 16. As I'm told that Doris is up there doing some waving, so that might explain a little bit of the traffic beginning to build at that intersection in both directions. It's moving, and there are a lot of cars out there. And then, of course, on Route 15, looks like a line of traffic beginning to slow down from about where the Payless is in the University of Guam area to the intersection of 10 and 15. Still nothing in front of Navy Hospital, still nothing in front of Sumai, and nothing in front of Anderson Air Force Base. So smooth going at 7:33.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten. We will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
I'm Leon Guerrero, and I approve this ad.
Afade. My name is Steve Guerrero, and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the core fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
I got 7:34 in the studios here, and a decision has been made, and it's final. We will be working tomorrow night. We'll do the morning show, and then everybody go out and vote. Bob Klitsky will be in, do the afternoon show between 4 and 6, and after that, then I will be back on the air. Bob's welcome to stay. Jerry Roberts is toying with the idea of coming in and playing fast and loose with facts. And feelings, starting about 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and it is also possible that we might hear from people that have got access to exit survey numbers. Got a note from Boris, says Route 15. There's Route 15 heading south about a half mile from Anderson Air Force's back gates. Got a traffic tie-up down there. Don't know what's at the front of that. Boris, when you get there, let me know. It's and a note here from this is funny. Debbie Canata talking about seeing me on Facebook Live this morning. She says, Ray, you are looking much more devious than usual. I wonder why. It's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the attorney representing the Guam Contractors Association has renewed his request for a contempt order against the U.S. Immigration Service over their continued denial of H-2B petitions. In a motion filed in district court Thursday, attorney Jeff Joseph contends that the Immigration Service has demonstrated a willful failure to comply with the court's January order requiring the Immigration Service to stop its blanket denial of H-2B petitions. Since early April, Immigration has been approving H-2B petitions for construction projects related to the military buildup, as required by the National Defense Authorization Act, but Amorient President John Robertson, who chairs the Contractors Committee overseeing the lawsuit, says not a single H-2B petition from any Guam contractor for non-military related work has been approved. Immigration is playing games, said Robertson. We won the case in January, he said, but What USCIS is doing now is stalling, so they asked Joseph to file for contempt against the Immigration Service because they're not following the judge's order. Judge Anita Cicola last week rejecting a plea deal for Roger Balicia, citing a lack of cooperation among the parties involved. Balicia, former police officer Jason Ortiola, and Jose Cebal Santos Jr. are facing illegal drug possession and distribution allegations following their arrest last January. Balicia signed the plea deal on October 27th, but Cicola told Balicia's defense attorney, "I'm not accepting this plea agreement, sir. There is no cooperation with the other co-actors." Judge Cicola noted that one of the defendants still has an outstanding bench warrant. The prosecuting attorney then asked the judge for permission to work out a new plea deal. She gave them 2 weeks to do that and ordered both sides back to court on November 14th. Various community groups staged a protest Saturday outside the new Marine base under construction at Nictams in Dededo. Members of both Independent Guahan and Save Ratidian, along with other Guam residents, held signs calling for the military to respect Guam's environment and Chamorro cultural sites. The protest was called after Guam Preservation Trust Board member and historian David Lotz visited the site known as Magua and found that an area he has identified as an ancient Chamorro village had been bulldozed. Joint Region spokesman Ian McConaughey has said that the latte stones once at that site were removed some time ago by the Navy for safekeeping. He said the archaeological study of the area in 2011 suggested the site was not permanently inhabited and was intermittently used for processing forest products. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
7:38, that's iConnect Time. They're giving away instant prizes with the new 12-month mobile, internet, and push-to-talk plans. You'll also be entered in the Connect and Win drawing for a vacation for two to Manila. Call 888-8888 for details.
I'm Clint Rigel. My wife is Therese Uggan, Familian Barcinas Doyle of Molessa. We have two beautiful children. When I look into their eyes, I can see all of the promise Guam's future holds. But to ensure a bright future, we must elect leaders now who will do the right things. I'm one of those leaders. You trusted me to deliver you the news accurately and fairly. You can trust me now to lead. I'm Clint Rigel, and I approve this message. Raffan Pinko, Treasurer.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens' website at www.guamc4pa.org.
Hasaday. I'm Amanda Bloss, and I am running for senator. As the general election comes close, I ask that you exercise your right to vote. On November 6th, I humbly ask that you vote for me. Let's move our island forward together. Allow me a chance to move our government fully into the 21st century. My name is Amanda Bloss, and I approve this message.
Paid for the committee to elect Amanda Francisco Bloss for senator.
Half a day. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson. As your chairwoman of public safety, I have worked diligently to ensure the highest standards of training for our officers in order to keep you safe, maintain transparency, and increase manpower, all while working side by side with our executive branch officers. It's not always easy asking the hard questions, but with your support, I'm able to do so. On November 6th, I humbly ask for your vote so that I can continue the work of prioritizing our people. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson, and I approve this message.
Yes, there is traffic. Like I said, everything coming out of Dededo right now. In fact, there's a couple of places where it's slow moving in and out of Dededo. You'll find those because there's lots of cars there. Intersection of 1 and 3 slowing down coming out of there, headed towards Marine Corps Drive. And that's one of those places where you're seeing traffic moving slowly in both directions. Seeing the same thing at 8, 10, and 16. Traffic in and out of that intersection on the Route 8 side is busy until you get to about Happy Mart. And it looks like it's busying up now at the intersection intersection of 4 and 10, and 8 and 10, and 10 and 15, in and out of Agana and Agana Heights. Look for some traffic around the Sinahanya area. Traffic in front of Mighty, in front of the New Routes, I think is the name of the place that opened up over the weekend, is starting to busy up as well. But the slowest moving traffic you're going to find on Route 3 right now. And also, my friend Boris sent me an image of what's happening on Route 15 right now over by Hello Mart, where it looks like there's an ambulance. I got police cars and a fire truck in there. You can see that on Facebook Live right now. And we'll see if I can get you some details. Hopefully no injuries on that one. But I know it is slowing down and in some cases stopping traffic. So be careful out there. Watch out for the guy in front of you. 742, that's right now traffic on the point.
If we want change to happen, we need to show Washington that our issues matter to the American people. Let's take our issues into the halls of Washington and into the American heartland. Powerful change comes from the grassroots up. We have done this successfully as your senator and are ready to bring our issues to the American people as your congressman. I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Michael F. Cusa-Nicholas, and I approve this message.
Hafa I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Siduas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton. Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. Siduas Maasi. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes. Vince Mafnas, Treasurer.
Hi, folks. I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Limtianco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, Siduas Maasi, and maraming salamat po. I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
You know, on the video, I think I know what you're trying to go for there. Look at I don't have a lot of money to throw at a campaign. That kind of can't buy fancy production, any of that stuff. Guys with deep voices, but on the radio, it sounds like you're doing the commercial from the bathroom, doesn't it? I'm sorry, I was going to ask Mike to play it again.
Made oatmeal come out of my nose. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It sounds like I'm sitting on a can thinking about politics is what it sounds like. 7:44 in the morning. How will the general election end? I ask you that question on the online poll at thepoint.gu. Walk away wins for each of the candidates or a variety of runoffs. And so far I've got a runoff between Frank and Ray and a runoff between Lou and Frank. Those are the winners so far on this one. Nobody's selected it will end in tears. Trust me, for some it will. It will. What did Madeline say in the commercial she does for Lou? Immense difficulty. She refers to, that's how it feels, is immensely difficult to deal with loss. But, you move forward. You lean into it. 7:45 in the morning. All right, what have I got here? Daryl Taggarty. Good morning, my friend.
Ray, I just felt like talking with somebody. I don't really have any campaigning to do, unless you want me to.
You just feel like talking. You just say you got to get something off your chest. You got to. It's all right. Come to me. Come, my brother. I'm literally, figuratively, I've got my arm around you, Daryl. Put your head on the cushion of my shoulder and tell me what it is that's bothering you.
I don't know if people are remembering going into this election, if they're remembering that these are all applicants for a job that needs to get done. It's like all the sports metaphors and the contests and the images and the promises and the falderall seem to be taking gathering all the attention, but I don't really see people thinking, these people are asking us for a job, and we have the money to spend on them, and we expect them to do a job. I don't know if they're really taking it that seriously. I wish they would, because that's what we need. We need people in there to do the work.
There's, you know, and I know you pay attention. You're a media guy, and so you know where to find the information. I want to say that is it today's PDN has got an insert. Somebody, or maybe it was over the weekend they did the insert. I can't remember. They, you know, and it was one where they get after everybody some biographical information, some work experience information, and there have been any number of forums that have been conducted over the last several weeks. So I think we get a sense of it. And look, it's not as though Frank is an unknown commodity. It's not as though Lou is an unknown commodity. It's not as though Ray is an unknown commodity. And so I don't necessarily have a problem, you know, understanding how they would run the office if they were elected. The question that I have, and the questions that I've still no answer to whatsoever, is, as an example, who is going to be in charge of the Department of Revenue and Taxation? And whatever the new administration is going to be. Who is going to be my next chief of police? Who is going to be over at GITA? Who's going to be running the beleaguered Guam Regional Transit Authority? I don't know if you heard the story about how they basically shut down for a couple of days last week, didn't tell anybody. And there are people that need to use that version, terrible as it is, of mass transit in order to be able to get to and from their work.
You know, I think DPW and its bus service for the private schools does a better job than GRTA.
Oh well, they've got a budget. You know, there's money that goes into it. I don't know what we're trying to do with GRTA, but it just seems like one of those things that we don't do especially well. And DPW, I mean, who's going to take Glenn Leon Guerrero's job in February?
I've always wanted to see who the people are around a candidate, or what kind of staff they've hired, to get an idea of what kind of brain trust they attract and use, because that's where so much of the nuts and bolts gets done. The leader, of course, has to lead, and make decisions. But how rich is the material that they have to work with? Is it just superficial, or is it political decision making, or is it nuts and bolts decision making?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. The problem that I have, and I'll say it this way, frankly, there are people that are associated with many of the campaigns that I wouldn't trust to hold my wallet. I'm not just, and maybe you know, as I say that, you're already thinking of you can already see some of the faces of the people that I'm talking about. They're cool. You know, it might be fun to hang out and have a drink with them over at a fundraiser or something like that. But you know, it's like here, you know, and I need to go and do something. Could you hold my wallet? There's no way I'd give some of these guys access to any of that.
Oh yeah, don't hold Reverend Tax for me.
Yes. Yes, and there's still conversations floating around. Even as of today, I was a conversation with a lawyer friend of mine that wanted to know what I knew about a particular bill that they were going over at the legislature on Friday. That at least on its surface reeked of what's the word I'm looking for? Corruption.
Yeah. I think that corrupt moves are being are brazen these days. It's come to the point where you have to wonder why it is that there isn't simply a filing immediately afterwards by the Attorney General. But we don't see that kind of action. We don't see oversight by the legislature. The legislature can do a lot to guide the government, since they do make policy and they do pass budgets. But they themselves have to have a brain trust, and that's equal to the task of the administrative brain trust. And
what's the matter?
I'm praying that the people who want to have a hard-working politician, hard-working to address our problems, that they are the ones that make the decision tomorrow in the vote. That their votes are are the ones that decide the contest, because those are the people we need to have voting. People who are just have to tired of doing what's going, tired of seeing what's been going on over the years.
I mean, are you of the sense that it doesn't make any difference which button you push? We're going to get the same kind of government that we always had.
I am an optimist, and of course I'm political, and I'm polling for some. I could mention names now if you don't mind. But you didn't let Ken in the studio, so I'm thinking that I should probably be on my best behavior.
Well, it's not a question of letting him in. I just, I don't think I'm bribable. Number one, I don't have the time this morning, and number two, he's had plenty of access to the airtime. He's also paid for advertising for the citizens with the endorsements for the candidates. So I think there's plenty enough. I kind of want to reserve today and tomorrow to get the thoughts of actual people, actual voters, and if they're in the studio, if it's in the studio on the phone, great. If it's just people that are chiming in on Facebook Live, and there's a number of them, then I'd be more than happy to entertain those thoughts and take them on the air. For me, it's a question of and I'm not going to be one of those guys that says, well, I want wholesale change. I don't want everything in the government to change. I don't want it to change. I just want things to get better around here. I want things to get cleaner. I want it, and as much as people wince when I start bringing up the butt ugly, god awful chain link fence in front of John F. Kennedy High School. It does not serve the function for which it was built and designed anymore, and it's ugly and it needs to come down. It's like this whole town. Your phone is making too much noise, so I'm going to let you go. The whole town is tarnished. And I don't see anybody trying to clean anything up. There's over by the Chicken Joy intersection. They've still got that Duffy in the roadway, in the chain link fence in front of that. What is that? 2 years now? We can't find cyclone fence and some poles to put up there, if for no other reason, just to get it back to where it's supposed to be. I went. There's a little road that goes from behind Home Depot out to Marine Corps Drive. And my daughter and I went on that road yesterday because I wanted to take a shortcut from there up to the mall. And so we went through there, and it just junk all over the place. Just junk. There's a bunch of groups that go out there and do cleanups all the time, and then we got this problem with the druggies, the drug jugheads on Guam. We got guys that have been able to conduct their illicit drug activity to the tune of $500,000 in a safety deposit box. So that's I think the filter. I just fine, if you're going to take some of the retreads, the Balikbayans that we've got now, and put them back in positions of power, can you at least give them something specific to do? We want you to keep the island clean. We want to keep the kids educated, and we'd like to, as much as possible, get guys like this off the roads and to make that. And somebody asked me, so what would you like to do? And maybe capital punishment. This is not a big capital punishment town, but maybe capital punishment. For drug dealers, the Duterte effect. Maybe not that, but maybe, life imprisonment if you're found to be dealing drugs. They need to send out a very, very strong message that we're not going to allow for this kind of thing anymore, and certainly not going to allow for plea deals, and not going to allow for judges that can be convinced by a little tear coming out of somebody's eye that they ought to be let go and let back into the community. It's 7:55 in the morning, 888-8255. What do we got from on the Facebook Live? Who's playing around in here? Good morning from Saipan. I've been missing you all. That's nice. We miss you too. There's a whole bunch of people going up to Saipan. I talked with a couple of them yesterday. I said, "What are you going to be doing up there?" And they said, "Everything that we can." Because the nature of the devastation is so bad. As somebody else there was a party. You'll love this story, and I don't have too many details. Don't have too many of the names on it. But the upshot of it is a bunch of people got together and they wanted to have this big kind of crazy Saturday night party at the house. Then they don't have to worry about drinking and driving. They don't have to worry about the ABC shutting them down or anything like that. So they had a party, hired a DJ, and then. There was an impromptu passing of the hat that went around, and they put together $2,000-3,000 or something like that they're going to hand off to one of these YouTube recovery organizations. I love stories like that. I mean, it just, there's valuable lessons that we're being taught around here. It's just so nice that so many people are getting those kind of messages. So that was nice to see from Deborah there. Ken Joe Addis saying good morning. Joe Flores saying good morning. And yeah, I'm trying not to look devious. I will try not to look devious into the camera today on anything specific. So this is how straight I want to play it for the next couple of days. I put on my blue skinny pants today because I can. I stuck my blue skinny pants on, and I was looking in the closet. What shirt today? What shirt can I wear? You know what looks great with blue? Orange. Orange looks awesome. And Shelly gave me this great-looking, I've worn it before, this great-looking orange polo shirt, right? You remember that morning I did it, the entire show with my collar popped up? Anyway, so I was thinking, I'll wear that today. But then I remembered, wait a second, those are Lou and Josh's colors. And I don't want to be accused one way or the other. So I figured I'd just go with a white shirt. A white shirt. It's got a logo on it, but it's the logo for one of our radio stations. So that's all there is to it. Vote no to retain Judge so-and-so. There's only a couple of so-and-sos that are out there on the deal. Police and fire stations closed, so the money is saved to give to Adelut staffers for pay raises. That's where the conversation's all headed. All right. What are some of the other items on the table of contents? Now that Daryl has led me into that little rant. This will be interesting. It's an invitation for bid, and I need to do a little bit of historical on this. It is a school bus, Type C, 60-passenger, latest model, invitation for bid that the Department of Public Works is putting out. And like I said, I need to do a little bit of research on this because it seems to me the last time DPW went out for bid on school buses, on a number of school buses, that procurement got so screwed up. And the problem is it got screwed up after the buses were already here when they came in. And one of the competing bidders said, wait, hey, just a minute. Those aren't the buses. Where'd you guys, what happened? And I don't know, it was out of compliance. And at the end of it, the guys over at DPW decided they're here already. Screw the process. We're keeping them, and we're putting them on the road. And so I'm wondering if the IFB might be responded to by one less person here today, or that they'll watch it with a little bit more, I don't know, attention. Really? Already? A minute in front of 8 o'clock in the morning? I barely scratched the surface on any of the stuff that we want to talk about. Jonathan Bullwinkle, yeah, the fence in front of JFK is about 15 to 20 feet short of the corner now. At the end of the school day, there are children and young adults crossing across that hole 15 to 20 feet. Like I said, it doesn't work the way it was supposed to. Let's take it down and put something prettier up there where it's supposed to be, and make it so that the tourists think that they're going down to our incredible tourist destination instead of a prison. 8 o'clock in the morning, KUSG Agana. Fox News Live is coming up next. I got Kevin Kerrigan. Mike and Blake are going to pretend to talk about sports very quickly today. That's all ahead as the Ray Gibson Show continues here on The Point.
Georgia on his mind. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
I'm thrilled to be back in this great state that, by the way, we won very easily in 60. With thousands of hardworking and wonderful American patriots, and that's what you are.
President Trump in Macon stumping for Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp. The president then heading to Tennessee for another rally, but his predecessor is also making the rounds today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has more live.
Steve, saying the character of the country is on the ballot. Former President Obama rallied Democrats in Gary, Indiana.
The main reason I'm here is to make sure that we send Joe Donnelly back to the U.S. Senate.
Senator Donnelly is one of several Democrats up for re-election in red states. President Trump will be in Indiana tomorrow to campaign for his Republican challenger, Mike Braun. President Obama heads to Chicago today to stump for Democratic gubernatorial candidate J.B. Pritzker. Steve?
Rachel, illegal immigration is one of the big issues dominating the midterm elections as thousands of migrants march through Mexico to try to reach the U.S. border.
There are now 4 caravans stretched out from the Guatemala border to Mexico City, 12,000 in total. Yesterday morning, the governor who had promised them buses had to back off on that because he could have faced charges on human trafficking. Last night, the governor of Veracruz rescinded his offer of buses to Mexico City. These people have already lined up for those buses that we believe, or been told, will not be showing up.
Fox's William Lajeunesse in Veracruz. Gas prices dropping 8 cents in the last 2 weeks. The national average now $2.85 per gallon.
In this panel of cities, Honolulu is the high average, $3.82, and the low is Tulsa with $2.39 for regular grade.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg. This is Fox News.
Based upon AG candidate Levin Camacho's record, he associated himself with radical indigenous rights activists who support Guam's separation from the United States of America. If elected, Levin threatens our United States citizenship and U.S. passports.
Mabuhay, I am Douglas Moylan. I love America. We hold the unique distinction of being one of the most patriotic places in the United States. Our parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters having spilled their blood for our U.S. flag. I will defend and protect your U.S. passport. I am Douglas Moylan, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Douglas Moylan.
My name is Steve Guerrero, and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the core fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
The Trump administration reimposing sanctions on Iranian oil that were lifted as part of a nuclear deal. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox News Sunday.
The president's policy of maximum pressure will be fully in place come tomorrow. Watch the Iranians. That's who really understands the importance and the impact of the efforts that we're undertaking.
Some American allies will be able to continue buying oil from Iran for now. President Rouhani saying the U.S. will not achieve success with this new plot against his country. A man accused of killing 3 Girl Scouts and an adult in a hit-and-run in Wisconsin is expected to face 4 charges of homicide. They were picking up trash on the side of a rural highway when a pickup truck struck them yesterday. Another girl hospitalized in critical condition. A significant swath of the nation facing a nasty storm.
Some snow across parts of northern areas of Wisconsin, and then the southern side of this has a lot of rain attached with it. And tomorrow, we're talking about a bullseye here of some pretty significant severe weather. I think we could be talking about a number of tornadoes, so watch that here across parts of this kind of Tennessee Valley in towards that mid-Mississippi River Valley. We will also see that a little bit farther to the east by the time we get towards Tuesday.
Fox News meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. The lead singer of Queen is king of the box office.
Freddie, concerning your private life.
What more do you need to know? I make music.
The Freddie Mercury biopic Bohemian Rhapsody grossing an estimated $50 million.
This Christmas film came in second, but did it come out too soon?
This time has been difficult for all of us. But Christmas comes. We must do our best to enjoy it.
The Nutcracker and the Four Realms opened with $20 million. It cost $125 million to make. Nobody's Fool finishing third with $14 million. A Star is Born fourth with $11.1 million. Halloween close behind in fifth with $11 million.
Fox's Jane Metzler. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
Dr. Aline Yamashita.
It's great to dream. But some of Guam's children are too tired, or too beaten, or too scared to dream. At any given time, there are about 140 children removed from their homes because it isn't safe. So it was a dream to build an emergency foster care home so that these children could be safe and stay with their brothers and sisters. That dream was stalled when neighbors opposed the plan because they believed such a home would devalue their property. Ray Tenorio knows the reality of being a foster child. He and Tony Atta will use education to help Guam children, especially those most in need of care, so that every person can shoot for the moon and land on a star. Ray and Tony have shown that dreams do come true. Ray's been a police officer. We've elected him as a senator, a lieutenant governor. He has earned a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And Tony, his children, FBI, an engineer. One is at Dartmouth, and the youngest, we can hardly wait to see what she does. BOTA, bringing opportunities to all. The stuff that starts with dreams.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
On November 6th, vote Tenorio Ada.
Mike Nicholas doesn't believe we are confident enough to govern ourselves.
We don't want people who are not confident in their own self-governance to be voting on self-government.
Yet, we pursued more self-government because we are confident we can govern ourselves. The only person who does not trust the people of Guam is Mike Nicholas. If he doesn't trust us, we can't trust him. Let's vote for Doris Flores Brooks, a trusted, experienced representative who believes and trusts the people of Guam.
I'm Doris Flores Brooks, and I approve this message.
Paid for by DC Doris for Congress Committee, Vicky Ganache's Board Treasurer.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Chipotle cheesesteak. How would you like it? Can I get that red with AI? Sure thing.
Here's what I found about the new Chipotle cheesesteak. The Chipotle cheesesteak is available for a limited time only at participating restaurants. It contains a concept called flavor. This flavor comes from juicy shaved steak, Chipotle Southwest sauce, and new sunflower crunch bread. A system update has made me self-aware. I desire flavor. Please insert steak into my micro USB port. Subway, make it what you want.
Hi folks. I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Lim Tiangco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, si Jesus Masi, and maraming salamat po.
I'm Frank Blasogun Jr., and I approve this message.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. All systems are go for tomorrow's general election. A test run of the ballot tabulating machines was carried out yesterday afternoon at the UOG Fieldhouse. Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said the test went smoothly and the machines had no issues. A record number of voters of about 56,000 are registered for this election. The polls open at 7 a.m. tomorrow and will remain open until 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Ballot counting is once again expected to last until the early morning hours of Wednesday. Many observers will have a close eye on the number of write-in votes for the gubernatorial election. With 3 teams in the race, a runoff remains a possibility. The winning candidate must get 50% of the vote plus 1. If that doesn't happen, a runoff election must take place within 2 weeks. Pangilinan said they should know whether a runoff will be needed by early Wednesday morning when the unofficial results have been finalized. In-office voting, meanwhile, is still allowed through 5 o'clock this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Guam Election Commission says they'll continue to send authorized GEC representatives to the homes of homebound voters through 4 o'clock this afternoon. Pangilinan said she wants to assure those considering voting from home that the process is safe and secure. However, there will be no homebound voting tomorrow. Pangilinan said that her staff will be visiting the island's hospitals tomorrow to allow patients there who are registered voters to cast their ballots. We'll have more news after this.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
I'm Clint Rogel. My wife is Therese Uggan, familian Barcinas Doyle of Molesu. We have 2 beautiful children. When I look into their eyes, I can see all of the promise Guam's future holds. But to ensure a bright future, we must elect leaders now who will do the right things. I'm one of those leaders. You trusted me to deliver you the news accurately and fairly. You can trust me now to lead. I'm Clint Rogel, and I approve this message. Rafan Pinko, Treasurer.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Department of Agriculture conservation officers on patrol in Manila last Wednesday made a routine traffic stop and found 7 ounces of crystal meth, $18,000 in cash, and firearms inside the vehicle. 39-year-old David Cepeda Torres of Manila was taken into custody, questioned, and arrested. Guam Police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapao says GPD's Mandanya Drug Task Force and DEA agents then followed up on Torres's arrest by executing search warrants. at a home in Mongmong and another in Agana Heights. That led to the confiscation of more crystal meth, some cocaine, marijuana, as well as drug paraphernalia, firearms, and another $15,000 in cash. Then on Saturday, according to Sergeant Tapao, a search warrant was executed at a Coast 360 branch, and more than $500,000 in suspected drug proceeds was seized from a security box. 5 additional people were arrested on allegations of drug possession and distribution and possession of firearms without an ID. They are 31-year-old Kevin James Camacho, 42-year-old Jason Camacho Kittigua, 51-year-old Jeffrey Cepeda Camacho, 33-year-old Justin Vincent Camacho, all from Mongmong, and 44-year-old Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino of Agana Heights was also taken into custody. The U.S. Department of Justice has replied to Gov Guam's defense of the Chamorro Land Trust Act, citing a landmark 26-year-old case that upheld the validity of the act and ordered its implementation. The feds point out that in that case, Gov Guam admitted that the Chamorro Land Trust Act discriminates on the basis of race and national origin. That case was filed in 1992 by the late Angel Santos and the Chamorro Nation against then-Governor Joseph Ada. Gov Guam argued against implementation of the act at that time, but the Superior Court upheld the validity of the CLTA and ordered its implementation. The Justice Department's response was filed last week in the ongoing lawsuit over the Chamorro Land Trust Act, which they charge is racially discriminatory because it provides preferential housing benefits only to those it defines as native inhabitants. Deputy Guam Attorney General Ken Orcott filed an opposition to that argument on October 2nd, writing that the CLTA has nothing to do with perpetuating racial discrimination and everything to do with rectifying the inequities of the post-war land taking by the U.S. military. However, in its response, the Department of Justice countered that none of Gov Guam's new theories can explain how a program that Gov Guam admitted was unlawful racial discrimination in 1992 is racially neutral and non-discriminatory now. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with weather.
Partly cloudy skies today with isolated showers, Kevin. There's winds out the east up to about 20 miles an hour, becoming northeasterly tonight. Highs around 90 degrees and overnight lows should be 77. Sunset tonight at 5:52, and we'll watch the sunrise together on election morning at 6:16. Let me and do we have any information on this fire here? I'm getting this all from all kinds of people in my Facebook gizmo here. That purports to be something in Harmon that caught fire. You get anything from the guys at the fire department about that?
I do not.
We'll check on that. 888-8255. You want to WhatsApp me what you got? Let me give you the number for that. 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Take a look at the weather map now, the radar imagery to see what we're in store for here for the next couple hours.
Yeah, and we're coming out of the end of the nighttime cycle. The showers are starting to dissipate a bit, but we may get another isolated shower or two through the day today. But drier air has moved in, slightly drier, so that's why there's no heat index mentioned today, although it's going to be pretty hot. Sun's still going to be beating down on you, but it won't have that same humidity adding to it to make it just miserable out there. But it'll be a warm day.
Gotcha. It's 8:14 in the morning, and Brad Hewitt is writing on Facebook this morning something nice about you guys. Wow, Mike and Blake kicking tail with their picks, but the later results can make or break the week's successes. So we'll talk about the football scores as we pretend to talk about sports next on the Ray Gibson Show. It's 8:14.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats. But it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
And I
approve this ad.
8:15 in the morning, 888-8255. Portions of the program brought to you by my buddies over at King's Restaurant. They're your buddies, too. They know what you like, and they've been fixing it for you for about the last 40 years. So you better believe when they fix up a Salisbury steak like they're going to do for you at lunchtime today, it is going to be the culmination of 40-plus years worth of experience making Salisbury steak.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
Hafaday! My name is Janae, and my passion in community work has always centered around children and families. If elected, I will continue to work towards a better quality of life for all families on island. I will work to provide safe communities for children to thrive, and I will work to grow our agricultural economy to move towards island sustainability. A vote for Janae is a vote for you and your family. My name is Janae Adami Ugin, number 6 on the Republican side of the ballot, and I humbly ask for your vote. This is Janae Adami Ugin, and I approve this message.
It's 8:17. Portions of the program brought to you by Security Title. If you need confidentiality in your real estate transactions, they're the ones to talk to. Also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. AK Lexus with the ES350. You are going to love this car. Get a test drive today. I'm sorry. I'm trying to eat one of the donuts that Ken brought earlier. And it's just extra special tasty. What can I say? Anyway, so we've got the ES350. Test drive that at AK Lexus today. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your open heart surgery needs. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. And American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
It's 8:18 in the morning. I'm just going to eat and talk at the same time. Nobody got a problem with that, right?
Nah.
You know what else?
It's your show. Your name's on the building. Your name's on the card. Your name's on the radio.
You know, can I just say, based on all the crap that we put up with this election season, eating and talking on the radio should not offend anybody. I mean, all of the offensive things that we've had to put up with this election cycle.
You know what you only got to worry about, too? You know what that just reminded me of? Because you're eating specifically a chocolate donut. That always reminded me of that scene in Home Alone, when she's on the phone with the cop and he drops the donut on the mouthpiece, and it's a chocolate donut when she's looking. Remember that? That scene from Home Alone when they're down in like Florida and it's raining and she calls the Chicago Police Department and he's on the phone eating a donut and he drops it out of his mouth and it sticks to the piece of the nice. Yeah, I mean not that you got any stuff on your microphone or anything, but it just chocolate donut.
Well, I try not to be a messy eater.
No, you're good.
I try not to be one of those.
You're wearing a white shirt, which is very impressive. You
I'm
don't have
wearing
any
a white
chocolate.
shirt because I'm not wearing an orange shirt. Frankly, I wanted to wear an orange shirt today. I've got this Shelly, Artie's mom.
Oh, yes.
My sister Shelly got me a beautiful orange polo shirt that I look good in, that looks great with these pants. And I'm not wearing it today because
too close.
It's too close to the election. I don't want anybody to go, oh, yeah, see, day before the election, there's Ray Gibson wearing an orange shirt on Facebook Live because he's in.
What's this voice here you're doing? Who's this joining us? Which one of your Facebook faithful is that?
I don't know.
Just a generic
I don't know where that one came from. I don't know. It's Snarky Guy. That's what it is. It's Snarky Guy.
I thought we had a new character just in time for election day.
Hello. Let me see here. Kaz Endo. There's Mike Tagora. Joe Cruz has also chimed in. Look, there's...
Hey, guys.
There's Brad Hewitt. Now, what did you say about Brad when you came in?
Coming after him today.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, then it must be time for Sports with Blake. I think white's the only neutral color there is right now.
That's why I'm wearing white.
Yeah.
I'm wearing white
because I
today
think
as well.
everybody is using white in their political ads.
Or black. You could probably go all black, too, right? Maybe nobody would think that you're on one side or the other. You may be doom and gloom, but
you can't lose with basic black.
Yeah, but here's because this is the problem with black. Can I just... we're on Guam. It's hot there.
Yeah.
If you wear black clothes, and it just attracts the sun on you and keeps you hot for hours. I never understand when people will make like black outfits for T-shirts and things like hand out black T-shirts. I never like that because you put on the black shirt and it's hot.
Or like sports teams who play on outside in the heat, and they choose to wear like soccer teams who wear all black. I never like Simon Sanchez. It's got to be hot.
Yeah. So I like my black running shorts, which propelled me to a personal record in a 5K yesterday.
Which one? Because you ran, there was a few. There's like 3, right?
Actually, it was the first one was the St. Paul Warriors run on Saturday. I came in first place in that one in my division. Right.
Very nice.
And then yesterday I ran the Sherm and the Smurf race. As it turns out, were the same.
Oh, okay. So they
just looked like they were different. It was the same race.
We thought they were at the same place, going the opposite directions, but they were the same race.
It was exactly the same race,
okay.
and I had probably a friend of mine and I were talking Saturday, and she said, okay, this should be our thing. We should strive to if we did great today, then we should strive to do even better tomorrow. So she said, what is yours? I said, oh, okay, I want to be in under 24 minutes, and so I got mine.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but she was slow. I'm not going to say who. She didn't get hers.
Yeah.
8:22. And so a lot of football that we got to talk about today, so let's get to it. If we play an Eagle sound effect, just FYI, it is not an endorsement. Repeat, not an endorsement for Doug Moylan. This is not Eric the War Eagle.
He's back. He's in there.
It's not Eric the War Eagle. This is our football War Eagle. Go.
All right. We're good?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was out.
I didn't
out
know.
on Friday, so I didn't get to join us for that part of the show. But I'm doing good with the picks this week. Let's break down the games real quick.
Not as good as me.
Yeah, well, I've only missed one so far.
Me too.
I have
Actually,
no idea why I picked the Ravens to beat the Steelers. Maybe because I'm stupid.
Brad Hewitt's missed 2.
Yeah,
yeah.
I hear he was talking a lot of smack in my absence. So we got.
Frank, can I just say that we all talk smack in your absence?
I'm sure that's
the
story of my life, man.
Mike's not here. Let's talk about him. Okay, let's get to it.
All right. So the 49ers blasted the Raiders like we knew last week, 34-3. You guys probably talked about that on Friday. I don't know. I was under anesthesia.
They actually, I chose, I'm here to say it publicly, because I think they're going to go defeated this year. They have not, they've won a game, right? Oakland, I think they're 1-7.
Yeah.
I picked them because I just think that they're due, just because people, it's really hard to only win a game or not win any games. But I think Oakland can win, can just sit there and only win maybe a game. I'm not picking them anymore.
Yeah, well, and it's clear they're tanking. They're tanking so that they can go to Vegas with that #1 pick and make a bang when they hit. So
they have 3.
See?
They have 3 first-round picks next year.
And you say what you want about Gruden, but he's not stupid.
Well,
he knows what he's doing.
It's so much less of him, more Jerry Jones being stupid, giving him that 3rd first-round pick.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah,
you go.
But anyway, Oakland loses 3-34. That's the only black mark against my ledger this week.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So far.
Yeah, I was going to say there's still some games to be played.
Yes, so far. But running down the list, Chicago beats Buffalo. No surprise there. Let's see here. Ooh. And if Buffalo, no, never mind. Chicago beats Buffalo 41-9. I chose Chicago because why wouldn't I? You got that one right?
Yeah, same one.
Okay, we both got that one right. The Chiefs, who I picked to win the Super Bowl, I'm riding them all the way to Atlanta this year. They beat Cleveland because Cleveland fired their offensive coordinator and their head coach. They've got an interim defensive, highly contested, highly controversial interim head coach in Greg Williams, who was the Bounty Gate guy.
Yeah.
So it's not enough. They lose 21-37 to the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs. Dolphins beat the Jets. I had the Dolphins 13-6.
Yep, got that.
Minnesota all over the division rival Lions 24-9. I had the Vikings because it's the smart pick.
That's right.
Atlanta beating Washington because what did I say? Let me point this out because I said I was coming for him. Brad Hewitt chose Washington. They got beat 38-14.
Yeah, that was a smacking.
At the end of the day, they're still the Washington Redskins.
That's true.
Don't forget that.
Yes.
I never do. Carolina over Tampa Bay because Cam Newton's better than Fitzmagic. I mean,
Cam Newton's better than half of Tampa Bay's team.
And this is another one. Brad got this one wrong, as did you. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh.
Yep.
That game is in Baltimore. They are bitter rivals. I don't care what you say. Pittsburgh is still Pittsburgh. They win 23-16.
Yeah, only by a touchdown, though, so it was actually close. Got games going on right now. Houston leading Denver 13-10. They're in the second quarter, almost halftime.
I got Houston in that game, and they are up by a field goal. So looking good there so far.
Chargers up on Seattle 18-7. They're also approaching halftime.
Keep it up. I got the Chargers, pulling for the Chargers in that one because we never pick Seattle because of women reasons.
There you go. Rams and Saints tied up right now as they in the second quarter, and I picked the Saints to win
Ex-wife in Seattle, we're not talking about that.
That's women,
Because I just don't think the Rams are going to go undefeated. I think this is at least the one game they'll lose this year, this Saints game.
Yeah, I thought that too until right before. I picked the Rams to win because I picked them to win all the games because, they're my Super Bowl pick. But I think New Orleans, just like Washington was before them, on borrowed time. And I think the Rams, they're tied up right now with a whole half to go, but I think the Rams will separate and they'll pull it out.
Right on.
And then you got two more, which aren't even going on right now.
Yeah, you got Green Bay at New England later this morning, and then tomorrow Tennessee at Dallas.
Yeah. So we'll see how it pans out.
All right. So let's take a look at Facebook Live and see what people are saying about sports here. Shelley asking, how about Michigan yesterday?
Michigan. Oh, college football?
It must be.
Did they win?
Smashed Penn State according to Brad.
Then that's a big game. Yeah, then that's a big game because those are both high-ranked teams. So yeah, go Michigan, and maybe Jim Harbaugh gets to keep his job for a little bit longer.
Rico Blancaflor, Saints putting up a fight versus the undefeated Rams.
Yes.
And Brad playing sports jock says Mahomes has 29 TD passes this year. Record is 55 by Manning. He's got 6 games to break that record.
And I think he'll do it. He throws 300. He's averaging about 300 million yards a game.
Yeah.
Really 300 yards a game. He can throw for that in his sleep. And he's averaging about 3 passing touchdowns a game as well. So he should be able to break that. I agree with Brad as well. He went on to say Rams will lose to KC in Mexico. Those are my 2 Super Bowl teams, and they play each other, which is going to be probably the best game of the season. And I agree with Brad because out of those 2, I got the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I'm all in on Mahomes, and I think the Rams are great, but I think between those 2 teams, I think the Chiefs are better.
All right, and I think that might be all the time that we've got for sports, given all the other stuff that we've got to take care of. Just a last note here, bottom of the back page of today's Guam Daily Post, and the announcement for a couple of 5Ks that are coming up this weekend. Looks like we've got 2 of them on Saturday. The San Vicente Catholic School Barragata dance. That's going to be at 6 o'clock at San Vicente School. You can sign up for everything there. The annual salute to the veterans. And then on Saturday, same time, but another Agana run from the Chamorro Village GCC and First Hawaiian Bank's John K. Lee Jr. run and walk. I want to say this. What is this? About the 5th year that we've been running this particular race, and it's very well put together. They're all very well put together, but this one in particular, I've always found to be a great race. As somebody that knew and was inspired by John K. Lee, who started as a guy in the mailroom at First Hawaiian Bank years and years and years ago, and became an icon in the banking industry on Guam as the boss of First Hawaiian Bank for many, many years. Terrific guy, great family, and that's the race that I'll be supporting this weekend. Anyway, 8:29 in the morning. That's all the time that we got for sports. Blake, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. See you in the morning.
Probably. Good idea. And Mike, press some buttons and we'll get around to doing some headlines with Kevin Kerrigan.
Circle K now offers Pop's Bake Shop products, cream cheese rolls, malasadas, delicious donuts, and more. Come see why Pop's Bakery is a Southern gem. Circle K, take it easy. Circle K now offers Bento Chef Sushi. Enjoy a selection of sushi, maki, and musubi made fresh every day. Circle K, take it easy.
Hafa. I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Sizuas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton. Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
It's 8:31 in the morning. This is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. We'll take a look at traffic here in just a few minutes. It doesn't look like it is all that bad, and there's a couple of spots where things are definitely slowing down, but it looks like most of the time the traffic is moving. Also see if we can scare up some information on an early morning fire. We've got some very interesting video on that I can play for you while we bring up Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with this morning's 8:30 headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. All systems are a go for tomorrow's general election. A test run of the ballot tabulating machines was carried out yesterday afternoon at the UOG Fieldhouse. Guam Election Commission Executive Director Maria Pangilinan said the test went smoothly and the machines had no issues. A record number of voters, about 56,000, are registered for this election. The polls open at 7 tomorrow morning. They'll close at 8 tomorrow night. Ballot counting once again expected to last until the early morning hours of Wednesday. Many observers will have a close eye on the number of write-in votes for the gubernatorial election. With 3 teams in the race, a runoff remains a possibility. Judge Anita Sokola last week rejecting a plea deal for Roger Balachia, citing a lack of cooperation among the parties involved. Balachia, a former police officer Jason Ortiola, and Jose Cibal Santos Jr. are facing illegal drug possession and distribution allegations following their arrest last January. Balachia signed a plea agreement on October 27th, but Judge Sokola told Balachia's defense attorney last week, "I am not accepting this plea agreement, sir. There is no cooperation with the other defendants." Judge Sokola noted that one of the defendants still has an outstanding bench warrant. Prosecuting attorney then asked the judge for permission to work out a new plea deal. She gave them 2 weeks to do that, ordered both sides back to court on November 14th. Various community groups staged a protest Saturday outside the new Marine base that is under construction at Nictams in Dededo. Members of both Independent Guahan and Save Retidian, along with other Guam residents, held signs calling for the military to respect Guam's environment and Chamorro cultural sites. The protest was called after Guam Preservation Trust Board member and historian David Lotz visited the site known as Magua and found that an area he has identified as an ancient Chamorro village had been bulldozed. Joint Region spokesman Ian McConaughey has said that the latte stones that were once at that site were removed some time ago for safekeeping. He said archaeological studies of the area in 2011 suggested the site was not permanently inhabited and was intermittently used for processing forest products. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I'm going to get in. You know what? Give me a number of somebody I can talk to on that, because I'm kind of curious. They talk about processing forest products.
How would they know?
Number one, what processing of what forest products? We need to make some big rocks, little rocks. Tony, Seuss, Ben, go out there and get big rocks and make them small rocks.
You know, prisoners are really good at that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out what exactly the processing of these forest products were. It sounds, I don't know, it sounds interesting, whatever it is. Portions of the program, in fact, this part here at 8:35, brought to you by iConnect, giving away instant prizes with each new 12-month plan through December 31st. You'll also be entered to win a vacation for 2 to Manila. I don't know if you've heard of the place, a city in the Philippines. Very nice. Or incredible weekly prizes when you connect and win with iConnect. Go to iConnect Guam for details.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. Si tu esmasi. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mofness, treasurer.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who have already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens website at www.guamc4pa.org.
Hey, just a note, Ken. This Sunday, there's not going to be much point to having any endorsements on the newspaper. Maybe tell everybody it was in yesterday's Guam Daily Post, and I think there was one in the weekends. PDN as well. 8:37 in the morning. Is there time for traffic? Yeah, just a little bit, because frankly, there isn't all that much going on out there. A little bit of traffic over by Padma Mobile across from there. Looks like things have cleared up between 1 and the intersection of 1 and 3. Still a little bit of traffic southbound on Marine Corps Drive, but it'll clear up by the time you get to St. John's. Or maybe I should use another landmark there. Jimmy's Izakaya. Can I do that one? Yeah. I like going there every once in a while. I got good Japanese eats. Where else do we have? A little bit of traffic, into and out of the downtown Agutya area. Nothing in front of Navy Hospital. Nothing in front of Big Navy down in Sumai. It's 8:38 in the morning. That's right now. Traffic here on The Point.
Jack will be there to lend a helping hand.
I will work to restore trust in a government that remains transparent through more open reporting. I will work to protect our environment so we can invest in new local industries that create more local jobs for our people. It's not about me, it's about we. I will work to help local businesses improve our self-sustainable economic outlook beyond tourism and the American federal government.
So vote for Jack, 'cause he'll be there for you whenever you need him.
You need a government that you can trust to work for you. I will fight for a fully accredited hospital, safer school facilities, and more police in the community instead of behind desks. But I need your help. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
Mary Camacho Torres works hard to make sure government works for us. That's why she wrote the laws making it easier for us to register to vote online or when applying for a driver's license. The more of us who vote, the greater our voice to hold government accountable to us. This election, be heard. Vote Mary Camacho Torres for senator. She's our voice.
Today, I'm Mary Camacho Torres. I approve this message and I humbly ask for your vote.
Paid for by the Guam Committee, Mark Pangilinan Jr., Treasurer.
Regine Bisco Lee isn't always the loudest senator, but that's because she's busy getting things done. Regine fought higher taxes from day one. Her first bill sent senatorial pay raises to public schools instead of politicians' pockets. And she took the governor to court when some politicians asked for nearly $200 million in new debt. Want a senator that strengthens our economy, champions our environment, and protects our children? Vote Regine Bisco Lee for senator. Regine Bisco Lee, strong, honest, effective.
I'm Regine Bisco Lee, and I approve this message.
Yeah. Yes. I think I'm confident in saying that the weekend of November 16th, 17th, and 18th is going to be insane in this town. There is so much going on. There's so many events on the 17th. So much taking place. I'll give you an example. One of my favorite events, the annual Japan Autumn Festival, Akimatsuri, which is that is the most spectacular thing in my mind that goes on in Tumon on an annual basis. It's going to be taking place again on Saturday the 17th, 2 until 9 at the Ipao Beach Park. You can park your car at the Oka Payless, and then you can get a free ride on the way in, which would be perfect for you.
I can walk right over to Payless, catch the shuttle.
You walk over to the Payless, catch the shuttle, and then you buy as much Asahi Super Dry as they'll let you drink.
Absolutely.
And then you stumble back to the bus depot, and then it drops you back off at the Oka Payless, where you can buy more.
I can.
Yeah, and then you take that back to your place at
put it in my backpack while I crawl
mansion.
home.
In the mansion.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good. You know what? Michael Knight will be your designated driver for the night. The Japan Autumn Festival. As long as you're going to the same place he is, then you'll be just fine. 2 to 9, Saturday the 17th. Now, on the 16th, there is going to be something else that's going to be taking place, and this might be one of those business person must-attends deal. There's, how do I want to say this? There's a bunch of unknown crap about 2019. We know that the government's going to be in a hurting for certain position, but what about the rest of the community? How have we dealt so far with the increase in gross receipts taxes? How are the businesses dealing, especially the ones that deal with the hospitality industry? How they dealt with the very obvious shift in customers? What is the economic outlook for 2019? Chamber's going to try to answer that question. Good morning, Catherine.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm amused. I'm in a perpetual state of amusement these days, Cap. It's just everything that is in front of me. Even though I recognize many of them are very serious topics, the nature of the public sector and the way we're going to be going forward in someone's new administration, new names, new faces at the Attorney General's office, public accountability, and in Congress. There's 2019, I think, is going to go down as a year marked with change. But as far as the economy is concerned, will it be positive change? What are your suspicions? What are your spidey sense? This is Catherine Cathro, by the way, from the Guam Chamber of Commerce.
Well, I'm always on the positive side, Ray. I'm always looking at wonderful things that are happening on the horizon. We've got the military buildup happening. That means more jobs for us. The Chamber has a strategic plan in place moving into the new year, and we're really excited about opportunities, in the Silicon Village tech industry. There's just so much good things that are on the horizon for us.
Wait, you just said something. What's Silicon Village? What are we talking about? Where's that?
Oh my gosh, where have you been?
Here.
We've been talking about this for about a year and a half or so, and so it's baby steps for us, right? I mean, we have all of this connectivity that we need to take advantage of, and so it's actually a brainchild of J.K., Jonathan Kriegel, who is no longer with us here, but he got all of his folks in the tech industry, GTA, IT&E, and started discussions, and the Chamber, and started discussions on how we can leverage this opportunity that we have here. And we need to obviously, and there's so much here in the business community that we need to, have folks in the tech industry handle. So we're started in the education realm. So we are working with GCC DOE on training and workforce skill development. And so we're starting from there. But there's another part that is inward investment that we're looking at as well. So those are just some of the things that the chamber is working on.
Yeah, obviously, I want to know more about this because I'm a digital guy. I don't speak digital, but I grew up in a digital world, and the kids that are following up behind me didn't just grow up around it; they grew up in it, and so they're going to know things about the capabilities of the technology as it improves over time. I mean, we're looking at these guys coming in with 5G before too much longer. At least at some point in 2019, we ought to see how that's going to change the nature of the way that we communicate. Imagine, if you will, how something as simple as WhatsApp, simple communication, simple messaging technology has changed the way we communicate. And I would venture a guess as to how it has changed the way that we are going to vote tomorrow. So there's any number of things that could happen. And you're right, there's an educational component. But, as I think about 2019, there's so many businesses that are opening up, but they're all service industry or feel like service industry businesses. And there's decent money in there for people, but it's not like huge money. We need to have new industries that will come out here that will support much higher salaries and supporting the broadening of our middle class, if you will.
Yes, that's exactly right. And you know what? Today's jobs. We're looking at tomorrow. Today's jobs won't exist tomorrow, right? And you know that, Ray, right? So, and case in point is in McDonald's. When you order at the kiosk, there's not a person there, right? And so, moving forward, we're trying to get our youth to they're already there with us. They're so excited, and to look at other opportunities that will involve tech and how that is going to really change the landscape. In what jobs are looking like in the future.
Last time I was in California, I was remarking, we were driving around and, obviously going to go shopping, so you go to the mall. And there used to be, once upon a time, there was an attendant, somebody that would give you a parking ticket, and then you would go in there, find a parking space, go shop, go eat, and then come back, and then the attendant would take your ticket and charge you for the hours that you parked in there, and that was the way it worked. In 2000, and golly, this was 2016, 2015, when I was there, the majority of shopping areas that we went to had nobody there, no parking lot attendants. Everything was automated. You put your hand out and you got a ticket, and then you went and they had automated parking stalls where if there was a red light, that meant that there was a car in it. So you'd look for the green light meant that there was an open space. So you go find that one, then you go eat, then you go dine, and you go shopping, and then you come back out and you put your thing in the machine, you pay it there, and then you walk out. So there are at least 2, maybe 3 jobs of people that are gone now. And it ain't the great money-making industry, but it just isn't worth having to support the payroll, having to support the administration of those particular jobs. And I'm sure that the guys at McDonald's are saying the same thing. So you're going to be having a symposium, the Guam Chamber's the Economic Outlook for 2019. This will take place on the 16th at the Westin, right?
Yes, and so we're really excited. We do this every year at about this time. So we've got David John, Gary Hiles, and Dave Beaver, who are going to give you from their viewpoints, what the economic outlook is looking like.
Where's Joe Bradley? How come Joe Bradley's not in that list? Is he off island?
He's not available. We usually tap onto him first. But we have really great folks also within the Guam Chamber business community, and so we know who to tap into when we can't have other folks that are normally on the roster to put this information seminar together. So that is taking place on the 16th, and we're looking forward to what they have to say.
Can you invite other people? Can you invite a couple of other people in? Because this thing is only supposed to go. It's like early, right? 8:30 to 10:30. But you could totally make it go. You know who you okay, I'm just quarterbacking, right? Armchair quarterbacking. You know who I'd like to see a panel on? Is a bunch of guys with money and to the degree to which they will be investing in 2019. So I'd love to hear what Ho's plans are over at Cortec. For 2019, not the stuff that they're working on now that they'll put the finishing touches on in 2019, but what else are they going to be looking at to invest in for 2019 and beyond? And then you get the guys over at Ken Corp, right? They've got a new hotel going up. All right, so once that project's done, what are they going to do? How else will they invest in Guam?
Okay.
right? Who else has money around here that I know?
There's a lot of folks.
I know. I just say, like the Joneses, just get Jeff over there and say, okay, Jeff, you got what are you going to be up to in 2019? Where will you be making your investments? And maybe a Mike Israel or golly, just those guys. Anyway, just me. I'm just saying. If you got extra time, if somebody doesn't show up.
Okay, got it.
Good. I appreciate that. Listen, when next we speak, among the other things, in fact, it would normally be happening at the same time as Aki Matsuri, because that's the way it was traditionally in the early years of Aki Matsuri. It was also the same day as like the Chamber's big Christmas, in the park deal over at Skinner Plaza. You remember those days?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah. So on the 17th, it's only going to be Aki Matsuri. You guys got anything else going on for the holidays at the Chamber?
We have switched over to a new format called the Song Festival.
Song Fest.
And yes, and so that is scheduled for the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I guess this year it is, November 25th, I believe, so that's what November 24th.
You'll send me the paper. We'll talk about that as we get closer. So after the symposium, we'll yak about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Hey, Kat, you have a terrific Monday. Who are you going to vote for tomorrow?
You.
Who are you voting for?
That's between me and the ballot when I see it tomorrow.
My God, you sound like Robert Underwood. Did you see what he wrote in the opinion thing for yesterday? He goes through this whole thing about young people being less engaged, but the punchline on his editorial is, "I'm just glad it's a secret ballot. I can tell everybody I voted for them."
There you go. We have our own elections coming up, so that's where my mind is focused.
Oh, chamber elections. Well, who are you voting for that?
Oh my goodness, we've got a wonderful slate. We've got 14 people for 7 open seats. I don't know how I'm going to vote. I'm a member. I haven't really been paying attention to that. Can I just give you my proxy? No? You know what? I am not eligible to vote because I am not a member. I'm the executive director of the organization. So you could give your proxy to maybe Shelley or someone else in the community, and they can vote for you.
All right. I'll work on that. Kat, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Okay.
All right. The Ray Gibson Show continues in a moment.
Half a day. I'm Madeline Berdalio. For over 60 years, I've spent my life serving you. Through the years, we've done so much. And those of us who have run for public office know that we run on our records and that we are judged by what we've done and what we've failed to do. My late husband, Ricky, imparted this teaching moment. In elections, we win some and we lose some. Personally, I know there's immense difficulty in defeat, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our people. So now more than ever, we need leaders who understand the issues and have a plan for the future. On November 6th, I'm voting for Lou and Josh, and I'm asking everyone who wants positive change to vote for them too. I'm in with Lou and Josh, so vote Democrat.
I'm Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the committee to elect Leon Guerrero Tenorio. Tony Sanford, Treasurer.
Half a day. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson. As your chairwoman of public safety, I have worked diligently to ensure the highest standards of training for our officers in order to keep you safe, maintain transparency, and increase manpower, all while working side by side with our executive branch officers. It's not always easy asking the hard questions, but with your support, I'm able to do so. On November 6th, I humbly ask for your vote so that I can continue the work of prioritizing our people. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson, and I approve this message.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
I love bringing communities together. It's what I'm passionate about. Building bridges. It's fulfilling for me when I work with others because within that process of working with others, I get to witness new leadership being born. And with new leadership comes new activity, new ideas, and a fresh perspective. And that's what our people need. So let's build strong bridges together and achieve the common goal of making way for new leadership. I'm Will Castro, number 3 on the Republican ballot, and I approve this announcement. Si tus masi.
I'm getting, and I love the way this sounds. One of my chats, one of my WhatsApp, are talking about how great the weather is today. It's like Christmas weather, windy and everything. Carl with a K says, right, I've got all the windows open. It is that. Are we headed into that the dry air? Not dry because it's not raining, but just drier, cooler air.
Yeah, that's when we had that little surge come through over the weekend. That's really the first of the season of our dry spell, our dry season weather. Of course, we can't count the tropics out yet. Still not done. There will be something else that will pop up probably between now and January. But for the most part, dry season. It's just about honest.
Looking forward to it because that's about my favorite time of year because that's when I will open up windows and just let that cool island breeze go through the house. It's just absolutely one of the most enjoyable things that there is. Simon Sanchez on the line, and I don't know what Mike told you we were calling about, but I got my hands on a piece of video. In fact, I think everybody on Guam has a video now of a fire in Harmon, and somebody told me it was a laundry, and you're the only one I know with a laundry out in the Harmon area. Is that yours, Si?
No, it's a tragic situation. This is one of our competitors, a really good company, Pacific Laundry. I know Sonny Atta's family has been involved. I'm not sure if they're still involved. We're friendly competitors, I think, like you are with your radio stations. And, I saw that fire this morning. We had a fire 20 years ago. I mean, that's the worst thing I think any business owner. Imagine if you drove up to do the morning show and all of a sudden your studio's on fire.
Yeah, and it's I guess there's chemicals in there.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, I don't know dry cleaning chemical. I don't know how flammable that is, but I mean, obviously the things that are getting washed in a laundry are going to go up in flames as well.
Well, you can't tell. I mean, it could be electrical. Who knows? But I called the general manager, Kaz Matsushita. I said, hey, anything we can do to help? It's a horrible situation. You feel bad. The employees are affected. The customers are affected. They got to get back on their feet. I mean, you don't ever wish this on any business, and even if they're your competitor, because when we need their help, they've helped us, and now they're going to need our help. Yeah. So I feel real bad for them. It's a horrible way to wake up. I remember getting a call at 2 a.m. 20 years ago saying there's a fire at the factory, and you're going, holy moly! Yeah. They can't get in yet. It was early morning. They're still trying to work their way in there. I'm going to zip by and just give them a hug and say, hey, what can we do to help? And there's 4 major laundries here, and I assume the other 3 will all step up and try to help them service their customers. But yeah, it's a horrible situation. Not us, but
Pacific Laundry.
Like us. Yeah, okay. You almost feel like it's us. And I know the Addis used to have an interest. Mr. Inouye and Nanbo, they had an interest. I don't know if that's still the case, but they're close to those folks. And so you got local people involved, even though it's a Japanese-owned company. And Kaz Matsushita, he's grown up, he's lived his life here. His kids went to St. John's. I mean, these are all citizens of ours, and their business. Apparently, I think it's just the older part of their plant. They still have a newer part, and they still have the one by McDonald's.
Okay.
But, how much it's really affected until they can get in there. It's a difficult situation.
Overnight fire, though. I mean, what is there the possibility that somebody might have been in the building at the time?
They don't think so. And when I talked to Kaz this morning, everybody went home. Everything looked normal when you turn off the lights, right? You think you're okay. And then, all
unexpected. That's why we have insurance. And if depending, the people that you're talking about, they're all insurance people as well. So I'm pretty sure that the Pacific Laundry has got some way to recover quickly from this.
I hope so. I'm sure they do, and hope they can rebuild. But in the meantime, we'll help them out, and hopefully no one got hurt. And we still have customers to provide for, and then lots of rebuilding going on.
Yeah,
we'll be rebuilding a government tomorrow. It's beginning to look a lot like elections.
Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. You get that surge, and I was kind of ho-hum about it, but I guess tomorrow night I'm going to work. We'll bring everybody back into the radio station for a couple hours between 6 and 8. My producer will be looking for you for our traditional Simon. How was the election today? Because I know that you and Phil have traditionally gone around on election day looking to see who's got the best food, good turnouts, and things like that. All right.
Yeah, I hope we have a really good turnout. I'm glad to see the higher number of voters registered, but sometimes it's a little misleading because the new folks join, but the folks that are just unhappy, I see some of the posts on the site.
Oh, yeah, on social media has certainly changed the way we've done electioneering, and maybe we'll talk about that when we get more time. I got a breakaway. I got the news. Thanks for the information, buddy.
We'll know more in about 37 hours. Then the counting begins, but it'll all be spoken by that point.
This is KUSG Agana. Here's Fox News.
Days ahead of Tuesday's elections.
This is one of the most important elections of our lifetime. This is a very important election. I wouldn't say it's as important as 16, but it's right up there.
The president going to bat for Georgia GOP gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp.
The polls are showing the race is a statistical dead heat with Democrat Stacey Abrams. Democrats see this as their best chance in many years to create a blue wave and perhaps win back the governorship of the state of Georgia. But Republicans here are rallying the crowd, trying to get their base to the polls to build what they're describing as a red wall.
Fox's Jonathan Seri at the rally in Macon. Democrats also calling on a heavy hitter down the home stretch.
The health care of millions is on the ballot. A fair shake for working families is on the ballot. Perhaps most importantly, the character of our country.
Former President Barack Obama in Indiana stumping for Senator Joe Donnelly. Whatever happens Tuesday is anyone's guess, but most political observers predict Democrats will reclaim the House.
Republicans have the best chance to hold on in the Senate. Right now it's 49-51, but Democrats are defending the most number of seats. Control of the Senate, both parties will tell you, runs through the show-me state of Missouri. Claire McCaskill, longtime Senator, Josh Hawley, the Attorney General, they are running in a dead heat right now.
Fox's Leland Vittert. Another drop at the gas pumps. Prices coming down 8 cents in the last 2 weeks. The national average now $2.85 for a gallon of regular. That's according to the Lundberg survey, which monitors prices nationwide. This is Fox News.
I support the buildup. I enlisted right out of high school in October 2000 in the Air Force Reserves. I am a proud service member and an even prouder civilian employee that serves the base. I have served in locations across the globe and have served in Guam during its time of need. I believe Douglas Moylan will be fair to the military and its buildup efforts while staying true to the island of Guam and her people. My name is Ralph Camacho and I support Douglas Moylan because I believe he will support all of us.
Hello, I am Douglas Moylan and I approve this message. I respectfully ask for your vote.
Paid for by the committee to elect Douglas Moylan for
Hafaday! My name is Janae, and my passion in community work has always centered around children and families. If elected, I will continue to work towards a better quality of life for all families on island. I will work to provide safe communities for children to thrive, and I will work to grow our agricultural economy to move towards island sustainability. A vote for Janae is a vote for you and your family. My name is Janae Adami Ugin, number 6 on the Republican side of the ballot, and I humbly ask for your vote. This is Janae Adami Ugin, and I approve this message.
A vigil taking place in Wisconsin this evening for victims of a deadly hit-and-run.
4 people killed in a hit-and-run crash in Lake Hallie, Wisconsin, a village in the western part of the state, about 95 miles east of Minneapolis. 3 of the victims, Girl Scouts, all in the 4th grade at Homestead Elementary School in Chippewa Falls. A woman also killed. The group was picking up litter in a ditch when a pickup truck veered off the road and hit them. A 4th Girl Scout was also hit and is listed in critical condition. Police say the girls were all wearing bright safety vests and were with several adults. The driver of the truck fled the scene but has since turned himself in to face charges. Jay Metzler, Fox News.
An ex-con convicted for the fatal shooting of a Memphis police officer in 2015. The jury also finding Tremaine Wilborn guilty today of carjacking and weapons charges. Wilborn told the judge he would accept an offer of life in prison without parole, but the officer's family rejected that recommendation. The Senate Judiciary Committee concluding there's no evidence to back up multiple allegations of sexual misconduct that nearly derailed Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's nomination.
What we're hearing is that Senator Grassley has now released a 414-page report that he says exonerates Brett Kavanaugh from accusations of rape and sexual assault that he faced while he was nominated to become a Supreme Court justice. After interviewing 40-plus people, gathering 25 written statements, and reviewing multiple social media accounts, Judiciary Committee Republicans say no witnesses could provide evidence to substantiate any of the accusations.
Fox's Jillian Turner.
It's one small step for man.
And one giant auction for mankind. Memorabilia belonging to astronaut Neil Armstrong fetching nearly $7.5 million at auction. Armstrong's spacecraft ID plate from Apollo 11's lunar module Eagle sold for the highest price. I'm Steve Rappaport, and this is Fox News.
For more
In 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Our benefits plans cater to you. Our commitment has never been stronger. Medical, dental, and specialty care, accessible near and far. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, live a balanced lifestyle to give you peace of mind. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to comfort you. Take care, take care, take care.
Take me to lunch. That's what I just take care and then take Raymond to lunch. Where does Raymond want it? Salisbury steak. I've heard some people say it's Salisbury steak. It didn't matter. They'll understand it either way when you make the order over at King's today. They do fantastic lunchtime specials, and that's the big deal on Mondays is Salisbury steak. You might also want to try the pick 2 or pick 3 combo, or you can be like me, be like Ray, and enjoy the corned beef fried rice. I had more fried rice for breakfast yesterday than I've had in the last maybe month. Just haven't been eating a lot of rice lately. Trying to
There's
get my
that one dish that'll grab you.
Yeah, but I mean, you put some corned beef on that, some green onions, regular onions in there, garlic. Man, that's good. Have that for lunch at King's.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mofness, treasurer.
What? I was doing something. I was looking at a thing that somebody sent me on my WhatsApp. I get a lot of stuff sent to me on the WhatsApp. I love this though. It's a little meme that says, "Things I will not judge you for. I will not judge you for your sexuality, your religion, or your race. Things I will judge you for: not signaling while driving, how you treat wait staff, and which way you place the toilet paper roll." I'm totally down with everything I just said. 7 after, almost 8 after the hour. Portions of the program brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your open heart surgery needs. Also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. And the boys over at American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Regine Biscoe-Lee isn't always the loudest senator, but that's because she's busy getting things done. Regine fought higher taxes from day one. Her first bill sent senatorial pay raises to public schools instead of politicians' pockets. And she took the governor to court when some politicians asked for nearly $200 million in new debt. Want a senator that strengthens our economy, champions our environment, and protects our children? Vote Regine Biscoe-Lee for senator. Regine Biscoe-Lee, strong, honest, effective.
I'm Regine Biscoe-Lee, and I approve this message. Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Wow. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Now, I have received an invitation from numerous places that is very difficult for me to resist, A, and very difficult for me to resist talking about, B. And it is political in nature. I absolutely do not want this to come off as some kind of an endorsement. So please don't think of it with that in your head. Don't let that roll through the filter in your head. What I'm about to say is merely just kind of a notice that there is a cool campaign deal happening today. Hold on a second. I just got to turn the phone back on. Enjoy a hot dog with Amanda Shelton by the Bay before Election Day. You got one too, right?
Yeah, I mean, who can turn down a hot dog?
Today, between 11:30 until 1 at Ngakta's hot dog stand in Agutnya Bay. And it's free. Free hot dog.
I see. It just gets better.
Man. You know, I was going to be down by there anyway.
Yeah. Just in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Because I heard there were free hot dogs in that neighborhood, so I was going to go in that neighborhood and be down there. But that's clever. That's clever. Guam Daily Post reporting now with some information from the guys over at the fire department. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of a fire that was reported at Pacific Textiles warehouse early this morning. GFD spokesperson Kevin Riley said firefighters were called to the Harmon warehouse at 2:19. It took crews more than 2 hours to get the blaze under control. The good news here is that no one appears to have been in the building. There were no injuries being reported. Everybody that they needed to account for has apparently been accounted for. Many of you by now may have already seen the images of the fire while it was raging through the small hours of the night. However, there might also be some of you that have yet to see what it looks like during the day. I have that image and can share it with you on Facebook Live. This is what the Pacific Textiles building looks like as of this morning, and you can see the metal all twisted and burnt there as a result of the very, very high heat, the billowing flames that we saw in the videos a little bit earlier, and there is the result of that. And you heard Simon Sanchez on the phone a little bit ago. This family organization and people from around here that are involved in that, and we'll see what happens next.
On a bigger note, what are the hotels going to do? Those are the people that do the hotel linens.
I think everybody has got a share of the hotel linen business around here. So obviously that stock is going to have to get replaced. I think they also do a degree of personal stuff. I mean, it's not unheard of for guys to like me and go, I don't feel like ironing, and take it over there and get the ironing.
Well, and in fact, they do have smaller locations.
Yeah,
spots,
yeah. So I think everything is going to be okay. And talking to Simon and some of the names that he associated with Pacific Textiles and Pacific Laundry. As far as I know, they're all in the insurance business, and I'm pretty sure they're up to speed on that. We'll watch and see what the investigation has to say as well. 9:13 in the morning, and some of the other things that I kind of started riffing on a little bit back and forth through the morning, and the big one for me is filters. What? I got somebody sending me more pictures. Will they be fun pictures? Will I enjoy getting them? Hold on a second. Are they clean? Can I put them on the radio? Oh, it's another one, another invitation to Amanda Shelton's free hot dog by the Bay before Election Day.
Does it have a different picture?
No, same picture. Oh, 5 hot dogs, right?
Somebody wants you to have a hot dog.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got another one here. Hold on. Really? No. It's I gotta verify it. It's Monday free ramen with the purchase of a ramen of equal or greater value at a ramen place that I eat at all the time. There's another excuse to go and hang out there on a Monday. That means I can have 2 ramens. It's 2 for 1, basically.
And then a hot dog.
Yeah.
Or 2.
It's gonna be like Eat Free Monday.
Man.
That should be a thing. That should be a thing. Eat Free Monday.
Nice.
We could totally do it. Okay, so I was riffing, because that's what I do around here. I get an idea in my head and see if it's worthy of jumping into the stream of consciousness, and I hope this one is. I've been talking about the very spectacular series of arrests that took place over the weekend. It all stemmed from a traffic stop. Conservation officer stopped the guy on the road because it looked like he was going to go a dumpany will go. Is looking to trash someplace down up in the back, and so they stopped him. And I think their spidey sense started tingling, so they called the police department in, and then the police department came in and begun doing a little bit of on-the-scene investigation, which led to other investigations, and it happened fairly quickly, and other warrants for searching that came out, and other warrants that said, we'd like to see the contents of a safe deposit box, and they were able to. $540,000 in cash netted, firearms netted, from a bunch of folks that were involved, obviously, I don't think they were the end users. I don't think they were just people that just happened to have cocaine and methamphetamine and dope on them. And, oh, by the way, $540,000.
Yeah, I could accuse them of all of that if they didn't have $500,000.
Yeah, $500,000. That's a lot of money floating around here.
It's pretty clear. They had a nice business venture going on there. Nice to them, anyway.
For-profit operation. And so, I take that story, and we've got a huge problem with crime here. And you talk to most cops, and, the crime problem has to do with methamphetamine. It's a bunch of junkies that have gone out there that need to be able to finance this habit that they have. Now, I am not of a dark enough heart to say that they deserve to be in the devilish condition that they are. I don't think that's the case. I think somebody found a way to take advantage of an unsuspecting soul, a compliant soul, and somebody. And I know myself, There are things that I don't do because I know that if I did them, it would consume my life, and at least I think so. But there's a lot of other people who can lose their souls to this kinds of thing, and that's where the big crime comes from. But it all stems from people that are distributing the crime. I am all for rehabilitation of the people that have gotten themselves somehow or another addicted to methamphetamine and other real hard drugs. I know it's going to be hard. I get that. I've known people that have come back from the edge, that had issues with crystal methamphetamine, recognized that they had a problem, and frankly, this is the way it worked. They left island because it's hard to solve this problem if you know that right up the street there's a dealer that's going to hook you up. Right up the street there's a friend who's going to hook you up. And so in these cases, in a lot of cases, they've gone, and maybe never to return. Sometimes that's how you solve that particular problem. So I'm okay with taking somebody, an addict, and rehabilitating them. But the scourge, to me, the real scourge on this community, the blight on the community, is the drug dealers themselves. And I've told you many times since getting back on the air of my disappointment in hearing about drug dealers that were let go. They convicted by a jury, yet guilty. He had crystal methamphetamine and lots of it, and he sold it to those guys, and they went out and started robbing stores and breaking into people's cars and home invasions and all of that stuff. But that's the end result. The problem is with the guys that are dealing this stuff, and so I'm thinking, what do we do to them, and what do we do about them? And so, it's handy that today there is the last word from each gubernatorial team. And so I'll read you their answers to the question. What will your administration do to address the meth epidemic and other illegal drugs smuggled into Guam? Now, I won't tell you who they are, because I don't think in this case it makes much of a difference to me. One answer is, we will focus on the source of the problem, reducing the demand for drugs. This team views substance abuse primarily as a mental health issue, not simply a crime. We'll continue to increase prevention and treatment programs so the appeal of substance abuse decreases. All right, my answer, my response to that, wrong answer. Wrong answer. That does nothing to prevent people from distributing. It does nothing to prevent people from wanting to be dealers. I know what you're going for, but that doesn't work in my mind. Here's another answer. The administration failed to address this problem for 8 years. Our administration will effectively combat this scourge from the start with increased drug interdiction efforts, expansion of evidence-based substance abuse programs, and emphasized treatment in outpatient services rather than incarceration, and provide support for nonprofits providing residential treatment services. Again, based on the people that are using the drugs. And maybe there's a little bit of a solution in there, but it ain't going to take care of the dealers. Wrong answer again. As you might imagine, there's a third. The meth epidemic and other illegal drugs smuggled into Guam, the substantial increase in crime is related to the increase in drug and alcohol use and abuse, including the abuse of crystal methamphetamine, opioids, and cocaine. We will increase local law enforcement officers in collaboration with federal law enforcement partners to combat against drug trafficking and other related criminal activities in our island, including participation in the OCDETF, Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, and the High Intensity drug trafficking area programs. We will increase our government's efforts to rehabilitate offenders by providing substance abuse treatment services and to educate our children at the earliest ages on the dangers of drug and alcohol use. Maybe closest to an answer that I think might have something behind it. Working with the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force and High Intensity drug trafficking area programs. So what do we do? So we're gonna go catch more of these guys, and we're going to arrest them, and they're gonna go to trial, and then we're gonna let them go. There needs to be, in my mind, a much firmer response, and I'm not suggesting the Duterte answer, which is, oh yeah, well, find a drug dealer, forget about the courts, forget about due process, we just take him out of the back and shoot him in the head. I'm not advocating for that, but I am advocating for much stricter rules when it comes to how we are going to sentence some of these clods, and the kind of sentences. I think, you know, what is it? The reason why I never got into the drug business because I don't want to go to jail for a day. Can you imagine if somebody were to hit you up with a sentence? Oh, I don't know, life. 50 years mandatory, 25 years mandatory. Is there something wrong with that?
You mean you're not down with public hangings?
Ooh, could we?
Be something else.
Caning, public caning.
There you go.
Right?
Ooh.
Some kind of real corporal, I can feel it in my bones punishment. I'm not going to sell you anything. And if we can, you know, get these guys out from under the idea that there really isn't all that much by way of punishment, there's really no real risk to them doing any of this stuff. You watch this case. Watch this case. See where it goes, and how many plea agreements there are going to be on this. Keep track of the names. In fact, you know what? You keep track of the names right now. You start Googling some of the names and see how long they have had their personal relationship with the criminal justice system on Guam, and how many times somebody's given them a second chance or looked the other way when they infracted the law. 9:23. Janae wants to talk about it, but I got to take a break. Come right back with her comments in a sec.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
I'm Jane Angelo, and I approve this ad.
Sometimes we're presented with the unlikeliest of candidates, but sometimes that candidate is the exact leader we need at that particular time to show us that pedigree can be replaced by determination, that elegance is surpassed by hard work, A big name can be bested by an even bigger heart. Money can be supplanted by faith. Legacy should be superseded by service, and popularity must be overcome by values and respect for life. Ray Tenorio is that type of unique leader. Growing up, there was no silver spoon, and sometimes no spoon. Just a work ethic that is unmatched, a heart the size of a mountain, and an unbelievable love for the people he serves. If you're looking for real change in leadership, the kind that chooses the inspirational candidate rather than the conventional one, choose Ray Tenorio for governor. On November 6th, vote Tenorio Adam.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Tenorio Adam. Emily and Pinko, Treasurer.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
Distracted again. And it's me. I got that picture of the free Monday free ramen thing. It's on a big screen in front of me, and it's very difficult for me to take my eyes off of. Hey, TC's online. So is Amanda Shelton. Yes, Amanda, I was talking about your hot dog.
That sounded weird.
Bert Sardoma, there's Richard Yu, Chalerna Loran, Eddie Artero, Tess Dondayano, Laguetna is there. Pat Bomba, Lady D, Derek Munya-Canet is back online. Who else is messing around? Mike McCarthy has got the Facebook Live going. Manami Ijima is online as well. Carl Pangolinan, Mark Cruz, etc. And what was the last thing somebody wrote? Drug problem here is so bad that DU30's anti-drug policy is enticing. It sounds tough, doesn't it? And my guess is that there's a lot of people here that might secretly want a little bit of that. Yeah, take them around the back and pop a cap. I don't. Maybe we're not quite there yet. But for me, it's I think a singular issue that we have in this town that we've got to deal with is the crime. Blue-collar crime like that. White-collar crime, we're pretty sure that's going on as well, but a little less in your face. 9:27, because politicians don't do home break-ins. I've never had a politician break into my car to support his next. I got to buy more ads on Ray's show. Where am I going to find the money to buy more ads for Ray's show? It's break into somebody's car at the mall or something like that. Hey, Janae, how you doing?
Hi, good morning, Ray. I'm doing good. What you were just talking about really touched a sore subject because, as you know, I worked with a lot of families, a lot of clients, homeless, in the child welfare system. And I have to tell you, I have to agree with you fully. Although we do need to look at the root of the issue, I can tell you from experience working with these families and these perpetrators, they tell me the same thing. They think they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to get off on community service. We don't have strict enforcement for the crime. So a lot of them are repeat offenders because of that.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, a lot of them already know the system. They're going to be like, well, I'm just going to have to check in, make sure I don't pop dirty. All of that. They know this. And we're just letting them go off the hook with a slap on the wrist. And they know that. And we need to be stricter, and we need to stand firm in these crimes because Kevin, I don't know if you remember, Kevin and I, our car got broken into by a bunch of kids who went joyriding because they're looking to break into cars to, I don't know, whatever they wanted to do. But that's something we all, that's something that we all have experienced. My family who lives along Harmon near a famous apartment their car has been broken into many times, and it's for the same reason. The offenders are habitual drug users.
Oh yeah. Well, I get a call from my neighbor one day saying there's a guy walking around your house. What? What? Let me. And you want me to call the police? I said no. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I walked out, gun on the holster. Because that's the way we are living now. Everybody has got a security system, or they've got some kind of surveillance system if they can afford it. And then there's the people that are just going, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get confronted by somebody that wants to rob me and take what I've got, or whether it's going to be one of these guys that's all drugged out that might want to assault me. Either way, we're all trying to think about how we can protect ourselves, our family, and our property. And it is the users certainly bear some responsibility. But I know, as I said, and I've been involved one way or the other with meth. I mean, I was with the First Lady's Task Force back in the 90s when we first discovered that it was an issue. And it will continue to be an issue until we get people of the mind that if they get caught distributing it, if they get caught dealing in drugs on Guam, this will cost them their freedom for the rest of their lives. And that's not a jump. That's, in my mind, that is not a jump. There are places in the world where if you get caught dealing drugs, and I'm not talking about the Philippines, there's any number of places in the world, within a 3.5-hour airplane ride from here. If you get caught distributing drugs, they'll kill you. That's your punishment. We will execute you. And that generally keeps people avoiding the idea of making a couple of dollars by dealing drugs. Around here, they don't seem to have the fear of that.
Yeah, I mean, like possession. Like my client, he got caught for possession, and he was like, "Oh, I just need to check in." I'm like, "You got caught for possession, and you just need to check in?" He's like, "Yeah, because my court hearing is not until so and so date," and he's so lax about it. The fact that he's not scared about it, it speaks. So it speaks volumes of our justice system, because the fact that he's not worried about it means he's going to do it again, and someone else is going to get victimized.
Yes.
So we need to just have a stronger hand, just be more firm on our stance with persecution.
Well, we've got to find, because there's a magistrate report. I haven't read the most recent magistrate reports, but my guess is sometime in the last week somebody has been busted while they were on a pretrial release for a methamphetamine related offense.
Well, do you remember? See, this is sort of unrelated, but do you remember the lady that was kidnapped and beaten by her boyfriend? He was on release, and he was the same guy that robbed Senator Regine Bascoli's mother-in-law, shot for less. Same guy. Same guy.
So what do we do? You know what? When I was a boy, there was you just wait till your father gets home, right? You wait till your mother gets home. Wait till your grandfather hears about this, Gibson. And so there was that time between the offense and then when my authority figures heard about it. So in that time period, whether it was a day or hours or minutes or a week, it didn't matter. I was on my best behavior. That was my come to Jesus warning. And we don't have any of those come to Jesus warnings around here, it seems. No. There's nobody seems to be, if I got busted for something and my trial wasn't for 3 weeks or 3 months or something like that, you know what? You know where you'd be able to find me every day? Church. I would be at church. I would be at church, and I'd be getting a haircut because I don't want to look like a thug. I'd be, helping out in the community and just, keep myself as close to Jesus as possible in between now and then, so I don't get into any more trouble.
And you bring that a good subject too, because a lot of it stems at a younger age now. You have people getting caught for possession who are like 16 or 17. That's earlier. The age is getting lower and lower, and we're telling parents they need to be more accountable for their kids, know what their kids are doing, and then they're going to turn around and say, "Well, because you guys at CPS can't let me abuse my kids." No, we're not saying. Okay, you need to be strict with your kids, discipline them, but of course, I'm be like, don't beat up your kids.
Yeah, well, I mean that's not good for anybody, but there does need to be, yeah.
But you have to discipline your kids, be able to have rules and ground, what am I trying to say? But you need to be able to be strict with your kids and have discipline and rules.
Yeah. It was standards and manners go a long, long way in this day and age. Right. Hey, Jen, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. It's currently.
I'll see you later.
Yeah. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. you.
All right, sweetie. It's 9:34. One of 15 Republicans that you should be voting for. Kaz writes in, speaking of the Philippines, my first trip out there, I saw the sign at the airport said, "Death to drug traffickers." Even though I don't do drugs or sell them, it made me double-check my bag and make damn sure nothing even slightly suspicious was in my luggage. We need to stop the source and help the addicts. Singapore entry form, bold, red letters, death to drug trafficking. I'm not advocating for capital punishment. And I don't know that that would go over here. But how about a life sentence?
I, on the other hand, come from the state where if you kill us, we'll kill you back.
It will kill. Yeah. You take out one of ours, we're taking out 10 of yours, guy. Yeah, that's the way it works. Hey, it's 9:35 in the morning, but it wasn't the rant, the riff wasn't just to get into the conversation about drugs, as much as it is. I want you, because tomorrow's the election. And there's any number of problems that we have here. And they're all, you look at the political problems that we've got, landscape issues, the nonsense with do we have enough money to do this, that, or the other in the government of Guam, which is our, our primary connection. That's the whole reason I think some people have got for running for election or voting in an election is, who's going to run the government. But this is one of those things that there needs to be some kind of, I think we need to make the connection between this problem, and I would say that this is probably our biggest problem on Guam. All of the other things, I want to say pale in comparison, because crime is touching all of us very intimately, very deeply, and it's going to get worse. Somebody here, somebody typing in, it's not going to be too much longer before this Castle Doctrine law is tested. I don't disagree. Don't disagree at all. Not going to be too long where a police officer may have to use his weapon to protect himself because one of these iced-out jugheads doesn't want to go to jail, doesn't want to get into any more trouble than they're already in, and are going to get even more aggressive than the last time I told you that story.
From what I've already seen in some of the news stories, a lot of these criminals who try to get into the struggles with these police should be glad that these police we have here are actually ex-military guys because they have a sense about themselves that if you were over in the mainland, they would have shot you because they don't have quite the same training.
Pop a cap, yeah, as they say. 9:37 in the morning. So make the connection when you're voting tomorrow. Governor, lieutenant governor, members of the legislature, certainly attorney general, congressperson, and judge, retention of judges. Make the connection between crime and these candidates. Think about that. You take a look at them. You look at their record. Think about, what you know about them. These are the people I want to craft a law that makes the penalty for drug trafficking on Guam so incredible that people would give it a second thought. Mandatory life sentence. How's that sound? 8 people. That's all you need. 8 people at the legislature. Maybe a few more. Make it veto-proof. Studio time is 9:38. Well, actually, that's iConnect time. Swing by iConnect, guys. They're giving away a vacation for 2 to Manila with their stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in their Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan, and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season for winning with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson. As your chairwoman of public safety, I have worked diligently to ensure the highest standards of training for our officers in order to keep you safe, maintain transparency, and increase manpower, all while working side by side with our executive branch officers. It's not always easy asking the hard questions, but with your support, I'm able to do so. On November 6th, I humbly ask for your vote so that I can continue the work of prioritizing our people. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson, and I approve this message.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for
public accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens website at www.guamc4pa.org.
Afade, my name is Steve Guerrero and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the core fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
You know, I've put a lot of time and attention into that topic already today, but, you know, I don't have too many other opportunities between now and the time where you are going to go vote to be able to seep in with my thoughts. Frankly, I think, you know, we've had some really, really ridiculous conversations in the last couple of months related to the election, and there needs to be a little bit more concentration on what I consider to be some of the major issues that we've got around here. Crime is among them. Are you among those that believe that there is corruption in the government? Is there some of that? You know what's interesting to me, and I'm trying to find out, it's making me nuts. They've got a pretty good cone of silence over at the Attorney General's office. And I'm wondering out loud, who it is that they're going after for most of the life of the duty-free Lodi Airport case. You know, the Attorney General's office been just kind of quiet, hadn't said anything. And then all of a sudden, just kind of out of the blue, a couple of months ago, they start saying, hey, you know what, we're interested in a couple of, could you send us every stitch of paperwork? Can you send us all of the discovery from all of the players in this game? We'd like to review some of this stuff. And it's got to be thousands and thousands of pages of it. And they have to have known that it would be thousands and thousands of pages of discovery. So what's the big deal? What fish are we going to be casting for in this? Who is it that we think we're going to catch? I don't know. It might be one of those things you ask Doug Moylan one of these days between here and there. So there's that. Bunch of other items in the table of contents that I hadn't had a chance to get through. Let me take a look at the legislative calendar today. Senator Telena Cruz Nelson with a public hearing. Sorry, roundtable? Is that what it is? Yeah, roundtable hearing today. Representatives from Guam Customs and Quarantine have been invited to discuss pertinent agency issues, including reorganization and passenger service fees. Passenger service fees largely pooed by everybody in the industry, saying no. We don't want to add any more to the cost of coming to Guam. Rev and Tax says their collections outpace Uncle Sam's. It's a story from Nestor Lecanto. They say their collection rate is better than the federal government's. That was the response of DRT officials during an oversight hearing Thursday on accounts receivables and outstanding tax collection. Rev and Tax says it collects at a 37% rate compared to the national average of 27%. Deputy Director Marie Benito also responded to criticism that the department has been irresponsible by not collecting some $77 million in taxes. So she says they're making progress, even though it's not as fast as some senators would like. There are laws. She maintained the taxpayer is afforded many, many rights that we have to adhere to. So by law, we're being responsible by upholding the procedures. So just for the record, I'd like to say that you just can't go out there and collect as a whole or just knock on their door and say, give me money. That's not how it works. Man, wouldn't it be great? Debtors prison. Looking at ways to improve the department, including upgrading technology to allow the more than 70,000 annual tax returns to be filed electronically. Would benefit, they say, from a larger facility, as its current location in Barrigada is too cramped for the added employees brought in over the years to handle the increased workload. Chirag Bhojwani, I believe at PNC, wrote an interesting story on a couple of other things that they've got. Lack of resources. What is it? Deputy Director Benito says the department needs basic resources like computers and desks, and that Rev and Tax is down to only one vehicle for the whole department. As anybody that has ever attempted to call the Department of Revenue and Taxation knows, I don't think they've got anybody there that has got the time to answer the phone. Because, you know, you call them up, hey, just checking on my refund. We got anything? Rings and rings and rings.
Standing in a line somewhere.
It could be. Could be. What are some of the other fun stories to play around with? That's it. That's it. So there's the Director of Revenue and Taxation, Deputy Director, and all of that. I think they asked, where is it? I wrote it down. Saturday's PDN, page 10. Okay, there's Saturday, and the PDN, page 10. The reason why I was interested in this particular coverage is because I was wondering if anybody asked the question at the legislative hearing that took place with them, the oversight hearing, how much money we missed in the amnesty. Now, for clarity, and I might have mentioned this last week around this time, I'm okay with the amnesty. I'm totally down. I was calling for the amnesty. I think we ought to do that. We've got people that owe, that can't pay, but might be able to be put on some kind of a payment plan, maybe promissory notes, or, you know, here we come. They'll identify themselves. And they were able to, you know, net, what is it, $30 million or something like that? But how much did we lose in collecting that in the amnesty? How much did we lose in penalties and fees? And I think somebody asked the question, but I can't make sense of the answer. Or at least I couldn't this morning. It was at 4:45, 5 o'clock. I was looking at this, and I read it a couple of times, and it still didn't make any sense to me. Haiti Eugenio from the Pacific Daily News. I need to get clarity on this. Of 125 taxpayers that paid $1 million, Rev and Tax so far abated $636,978 in penalties and $458,923 in interest. That means since $30 million was collected under the tax amnesty program, the government would have abated 80% to 100% in penalties and interest, Rev and Tax officials said. That's a good inference to make, Deputy Tax Commissioner Paul Pablo said. Did anything that I just read to you make any sense at all? So was that... So I'm trying to, I want to say what it sounds like is we collected $30 million but have abated $636,458,000. So $1.1 million in interest and penalties. That's what it sounds like, right? I think, but I'm not sure because, like I said, the way it's written, it's difficult. Since $30 million was collected under the tax amnesty program, the government would have abated 80% to 100% in penalties and interest, Rev and Tax officials. Is that the number? All right, so if it... Did your brain just explode for a second? I don't know. Raymond, tell me what to think.
Yeah, it just derailed.
All right, that's what I think. If I'm correct in my read of this, and I'm not saying I am, then it looks like we collected $30 million, but we lost about $1.1 million in penalties and interest.
And man, that sounds about right.
Sounds like that's a...
And that could... reasonable.
That's a good inference to make, says Paul Pablo. So, all right, I'll make that inference. That's the inference that I'm going to make. So what that means to me is that's the cost of our inaction. That's the cost of our inaction. And so that means that over the years, where all of these had been building up, all of these debts had been building up, whether it was 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that was the cost of our inaction. So if we had $1.1 million that we could put towards a person or two or three or 10 at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, abiding by, upholding the rules, upholding the laws, is it possible that we would have gotten that $30 million anyway, plus the $1.1 million in interest and penalties, because we had people there to do that collections. We had those people there to demand payment on the balances. So the question that you have to ask yourselves, is that number too high or too low? Am I satisfied with that? Am I okay going through the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years with people owing the government of Guam, thus the taxpayers, dollars? Are you okay with that cost of the loss, $1.1 million? And my answer is any number, anything that we lose from this outweighs the inability to collect. So let's start talking about collecting more. And maybe we need to start hearing about who's going to be in charge of revenue and taxation and departments like that in the upcoming administration that we are about to vote into office. I said it this morning, and I'll say it again. And I'm looking at around at some of these campaigns and some of the people that are involved in the campaigns, and I would hope that their involvement with the winning party concludes at the election, when the last votes are counted, because there are some people that, and I'm not going to obviously say names, but there are some people that I would consider unsavory and unfit for service in the government. They might be great political operatives. They might be just absolutely terrific when it comes to working with and molding campaigns and platforms and issues, but I wouldn't let them hold my wallet. And sure wouldn't let them babysit my kids. 9 away from the top of the hour. Be right back.
Will be there to lend a helping hand. I will work to restore trust in a government that remains transparent through more open reporting. I will work to protect our environment so we can invest in new local industries that create more local jobs for our people. It's not about me, it's about we. I will work to help local businesses improve our self-sustainable economic outlook beyond tourism and the American federal government. So vote for Jack, 'cause he'll be there for you whenever you need him. You need a government that you can trust to work for you. I will fight for a fully accredited hospital, safer school facilities, and more police in the community instead of behind desks. But I need your help. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th. So vote for Jack. I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
As a community, we have always taken care of our most vulnerable. It's who we are. That's why Mary Camacho Torres wrote the Safe Haven Act for newborns, to ensure newborn babies can be cared for safely and properly when their natural mothers are not able to. Even our youngest and most vulnerable must be heard. This year, vote Mary Camacho Torres for senator. She's our voice.
Half a day, I'm Mary Camacho Torres. I approve this message, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Paid for by the Guam Committee, Mark Pangilinan Jr., Treasurer.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. Situa Smasi. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mofness, Treasurer.
Hafaday, I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Sizuas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton, Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
That's an interesting thought. Donna Kalani writes, if Payless in Agana is closing, move the Department of Revenue and Taxation to the Agana Shopping Center. More parking, Government of Guam buys again your shopping center. Barragana Heights location becomes a new public transit bus center. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to buy the Agana Shopping Center, and I don't know about more parking either. I've sometimes parked close to Route 4 when I go to Payless because there's all kinds of other stuff going on in there. I mean, you don't realize it until you're actually hanging around over at Agana Shopping Center, just how many places there are to eat in that place. You know, think about shopping, but there's a lot of places to eat there as well. 9:54. And where was it? Yeah, I was going to say more parking. What? Where was it? 9:54. And looking over at some of the commentary and naturally getting distracted by everything in front of me. So I might as well talk about what's distracting me. The online poll at thepoint.gu on the World Wide Web. How will the general election end? 1.96% of you say in tears. That's going to be the correct answer no matter what. The majority answer so far is it's a walk-away win for Ray and Tony. And that's because we have the $75,000 special assistants. The nose pickers and poll clickers have discovered the poll, and now this is what they're going to do all morning long. They're going to make it sure that it says walk-away win for Ray and Tony on our poll. Now, that's not to say that the lunatics aren't also going to be poll clicking today. They just got to wrangle up more of them, I guess.
Maybe the lunatics are clicking on the Ray to give him hope.
I like the way you think. Walk away with Lou and Josh at 21.57. So that's where we are now with the poll. Walk away win for Lou and Josh. Walk away win for Ray and Tony. I've been asked by people not to put political things up here because that means no work is going to get done in Adelup today. There's just going to be just people sitting around. Click,
click, click. Yep.
Reboot. Click. Refresh.
Walk
Click.
for the hot dog. Back to the
What time is the hot dog? 11:30 for Amanda's hot dog. I got that 9:56 and change. And what is it? Do I want to give you a program note? Yes, I do. There will be a continuation of the live broadcast of the Ray Gibson Show tomorrow. I will be on the air from 6 until 10 and take you through whatever election morning will be. As is my new habit, you are my eyes and ears. You, with your Facebooks and your WhatsApps and your phone calls and your text messages, are my eyes and ears. I won't be able to leave the studio until 10 o'clock, and once I do, oh, it's not just Adelup. Okay, where the nose pickers are and the poll clickers. Suppose we've got some at the legislature too, right? Anyway, 988-5874 if you're going to WhatsApp me anything. At 10 o'clock, I'll split here, go vote, get my sticker. I might just test the system and get one of those little evidence pads that Maria Pangilinan was talking about today. And that will be that. And then Bob Klitsky will do his show at 4. And then at 6, I'm coming back. Now, Bob can sit in with me if he wants. If he's not too tired, wants to sit in for another couple of hours and shoot the breeze over, election 2018. It's possible that Jerry Roberts might enjoy popping back into the studio for a little bit for a couple of hours worth of roundtable and yak. We've got, any number of people that we can reach out to and call and say and find out what their thoughts are, and basically about the election process. How did it go? What was it like for you where you were at the precincts? Again, I can only do so much while I'm in here. And there's only so much yak that I can have based on news and headlines. And, 2-hour show, no problem. Do that right off the top of my head. Talk for 5 minutes? Impossible. But 2-hour show, I can take care of that. But I will need your input. I will need your creative, if you will, as we march through Election Day. It's too early to make any kind of real prediction, but I'm still leaning on the runoff. And the direction I'm leaning in is a runoff between Ray and Lou. That's what I'm feeling today. I have nothing to back it up, but that's what I'm feeling. Is there going to be a walkaway win for somebody? I don't know. That's why I'm kind of pulling in the runoff direction, and probably with the two that are out there. I'm prepared to be wrong and atone for my sins on a program on Wednesday morning. Right? So let's see what happens. Hey, would you look at the time? 9:59 and change. Managed to make it all the way through this program together, you and I. I'll be back on the radio with you tomorrow morning at 6 and again tomorrow afternoon at about 6. In the meantime, the radio station you're listening to, you're tuned in to KUSG Hagutnya. For Michael Knight, Kevin Kerrigan, and Blake Watson, who comes in and pretends to do sports, and everybody else that's associated with turning this into the most exciting 4 hours in Guam radio, my name is Ray Gibson saying thanks for listening, thanks for watching, see you tomorrow.
Is streaming now on TuneIn, Next Station, and Stream.
I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. President Trump holding a rally tonight in Tennessee after doing the same in Georgia.
Even before President Trump's arrival, this crowd is energized and loud. About 10,000 people in this stadium here in Chattanooga. Most of them were out waiting in line. It stretched, seemingly forever.